Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back at open mic. Right now, we have at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead. Who is that?
Hey man, it's Rich. How's it going? Go big, go home pod on Twitter.
Absolutely. Who's to my right?
That would be Dylan, aka the Big D, Spunky Spectrum Sports, Big D Podcast, at Dylan S Sports One, and you know what? I mean, Big Rich might be big bold. I'm big and bold with my predictions.
Might be. Who knows? Anyway, everyone tuning in so far, thank you very much. You can find us over at Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube. Look for Miss Phoenix, our mascot, on the cover. Get in here, like, subscribe, leave some comments, and let's get the conversation rolling, boys. We were just talking about the home run era backstage. I thought that people might want to hear your guys' takes on those. Um, Rich, you were just saying steroids don't make better contact. I completely agree with that. You can't take away from that hand-eye coordination. You can only hit the ball 700 feet instead of 400.
But it made a lot of guys that had warning track power, see Brady Anderson and a few other guys, home run hitters that were, instead of hitting 15 a year, were hitting 35. Or in Anderson's case, I think he hit, 52, 53, something like that. The big thing about it is, it just the steroids themselves was an illegal advantage. And I don't think anybody's going to argue that point. Um, so, we were talking about Judge and is he going to break his own record? And he's on pace to hit 63. If he hits 63, should he be considered as the all-time home run leader? And everybody else has their asterisks and that kind of stuff. It's a topic that's going to go on forever, but I was just kind of curious what you guys thought about that. And me personally, yeah, I look at it that he would legitimately be that guy, that home run leader over Bonds and Sosa and McGwire.
But there's so many legal things you can take now that they didn't have back then. You can take all the protein shakes. You can take all the Rich is showing off his body tonight like we're on OnlyFans. I don't know what's going on. Anyway.
Yeah, right.
Rich was just showing he's not on steroids.
There you go.
So it's one of those topics that are very. It's going to be controversial until the end.
It is.
Because they weren't kicked out of baseball immediately. Some of them never even tested positive in a piss cup.
Some of them were never tested.
Some of them were never tested. Like I said, never tested positive in a piss cup. So it's like, I put Ohtani as a question mark, as an asterisk. There's no way you don't know you're missing $8 million out of nowhere. I don't care how much you make. You still know that's a healthy chunk of change missing. And if you're telling me a guy with you 24 freaking hours a day, you don't know he's gambling. On some of them bookie days when you go back and look and he was 0 for 6 and the bookie had that played out perfect, there's stuff to be looked at there. But they wanted to wash that under the table because of how good he is.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have a point there, but the Hall of Fame and Major League Baseball in general, players are not angels. Pardon the pun for you Anaheim fans out there. Or Los Angeles fans out there. But, it's not a case where everybody's an angel. You had Babe Ruth was a notorious drunk. Not everybody is squeaky clean. Like a Hank Aaron, like a Willie Mays, like a Jackie Robinson, guys like that. Even to the degree of a Greg Maddux or a Tom Glavine or a Randy Johnson. Not for, you're going to have those guys that are, Ty Cobb had his issues. Of course, Shoeless Joe Jackson, throws the World Series, Pete Rose bets on baseball.
As a coach.
But and that's where I think that line falls in. And Pete Rose is also part of that line. If it affects the integrity of the game, then that affects your Hall of Fame status and that kind of deal. Off the field, I understand they want guys that are Boy Scouts. I got bad news for you. Professional athletes, even 80 years ago, were not Boy Scouts. So you're not going to have that happen. But if you mess with the integrity of the game, Gaylord Perry threw spitballs. Should he be in? Should he not be? You can make an argument for a lot of guys that are in, that maybe shouldn't be, and that should be, that aren't in.
You think they're
i.e. Dale Murphy and guys like that.
Do you think they're going to wait till they pass to put them in just so they don't get to have that glory?
I would hate to see that happen.
I bet you that's what they do.
I would hate to see it, Pete Rose dies and the next year they put him in the Hall of Fame. No, that's vengeful.
I bet you it would be a push for it.
I bet there would be, but it's still vengeful. I think it's a wrong thing to do. I think it sends a bad signal from Major League Baseball.
I was just curious. Like that just seems like they're on their life punishment now, and then they get rewarded whenever they're.
Yeah, but like I say, I would hate to see it happen. It hasn't happened yet. I'd hate to see it happen. And probably the first one that will be tested by is, and I'm just going by age, folks, is Pete Rose. He's the oldest one of the bunch. I think he's pushing 80 if he's not 80. So, when he passes away, do they end up putting him in the following year? Then I'll have a whole different soapbox to step on at that point, because I think Major League Baseball will definitely have done the wrong thing.
Just remember this conversation right now. They're on a death penalty right now to not enjoy it.
I'm just thinking, do you guys remember David Justice with the Braves, Indians, and Yankees back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you remember who he was married to?
Halle Berry.
Yeah, and didn't Justice beat up Halle Berry?
I don't think he got hit for domestic assault. I know they obviously got divorced, but let me see. I mean, there may have been. I don't know.
But
there were allegations.
Because it's just weird, because Justice was able to play, but now Trevor Bauer has basically been banished from Major League Baseball with a couple of stories that happened in 2021, right?
Right. Well, should Trevor Bauer be allowed back in? Yeah, because the allegations were there. Were they proven? No. Which makes it just like a Ben Roethlisberger thing, where he had the allegations thrown against him and they were complete and absolute bull. There's a lot of guys that have had allegations. It's not the Ray Rice situation where they've got him dead to rights, kicking the crap out of his wife. I think it was his wife or girlfriend, one or the other, on video. Okay, put him under the jail and then go from there. But a case like Justice or any of these other guys, yeah, I mean, from what I'm seeing here, Barry never publicly named Justice as the culprit of the domestic violence, but has discussed an abusive relationship, and people assumed it was Justice. She did file for a restraining order after the 1997 divorce, alleging he stayed outside their home and demanded to be allowed in to retrieve some belongings, at one point yelling he would break windows and doors. The rumors of domestic violence have continued and hurt his reputation in subsequent relationships. That's a whole different thing that's a whole different level of domestic violence than actually, Bad part is it doesn't take far to go from there to the worst levels.
Right. Yeah, I just, like you just said, all I saw was lurking out the windows. That's all I saw. I don't know, Trevor Bauer. I don't know why people are scared to give him a chance. Maybe because he's. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they bought German Domingo back, so why couldn't they do it for him?
Well, and he was kind of, well, not even kind of. He was pretty much a prick when he was playing. And that I'm sure didn't help the cause very much in the eyes of ownership with teams and that kind of stuff.
Like, do you remember? Like, I remember one game after I think it was Cedar Francona removed Bauer from the game. He threw the ball over, like he threw the ball basically to the warning track.
He threw it over the wall at Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of a throw. Hell of a throw. I don't care. That's a hell of a throw.
Pat Mahomes.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I mean, it's a tough situation because, like, Jaron Duran this baseball season. I'm sure all of us have seen that video, right?
Highest selling jersey in MLB right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing. He appealed his suspension.
Actually,
and
his suspension.
Say again.
Served his suspension.
He didn't. He must have served it after the first game because he played the next night.
Actually missed.
Well, if you appeal it, you get to take it to court, right? So you still play, right?
Say again. Yeah, if you appeal your suspension, you play until there's a decision made.
Right. That's why he played the next night. I love it that he became the highest selling jersey. People are starting to get tired of this crap.
Yeah, he did. He did end up actually. It looks like he actually did pull his appeal and serve the 2 games. But he shouldn't have pulled this. He shouldn't have appealed. What was he going to say? I didn't do it. There's only 80,000 versions of it on YouTube and Twitter and all that kind of stuff.
I would have appealed it.
You can't do that stuff now. I mean, if it was 40 years ago when not every pair of hands in the stadium has a cell phone that has a camera on it and all that, it's a little different discussion.
I'm sure that stuff did get said.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you hear some of these guys talk about the way conversations went and all that whenever, in the 70s and 80s. George Brett has talked about that on numerous occasions, and the language would always get flowery and all that kind of stuff. Which, okay, but again, you didn't have, everybody. It was, to use a bad term, it was a different time. I hate using that line, but it was a different time. Yankees lose, by the way, for those who care.
What they were.
The Orioles are in Dodger Stadium tonight.
Yeah, believe so.
Rematch of the 1966 World Series, which the Orioles won in 4.
Yeah.
Are they wearing throwbacks?
I don't believe so.
It's cool to see the Orioles in that all orange with the black stripes on the end, pullover jerseys.
Beats the 1975 Cleveland Apples, right? That might be the worst uniform in baseball history, worse than the Chicago White Sox wearing shorts.
When?
Yeah, those were pretty bad.
Oh gosh.
When did they let a major league team wear shorts?
Only
Bill Veeck, man.
I was going to say that had to be a long, long time ago. Holy cow!
1978.
They wore shorts, and they were probably wearing those like short basketball shorts.
No. They were like coaches' shorts. You remember the coaches' shorts from the 80s?
Shorts.
Huh?
The biker shorts.
Bike shorts. Yeah, like what the coaches used to wear for football and that kind of stuff.
Oh,
They weren't tight. They were.
It'd still be hilarious.
Almost.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous to watch them wearing those. But that was during that same time frame within like 5 or 6 years where you had the Astros launch those rainbow uniforms with the numbers on the thigh, which I thought were cool uniforms, to be honest with you. Yeah, and you had some other teams.
That's the Nolan Ryan, Mike Scott year.
Part of them, yeah. They had those uniforms for a long time. J.R. Richard wore them in 81. Then Ryan and Scott in the mid 80s there when they were playing the Mets in the playoffs and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I mean, some of those uniforms look like softball uniforms. I mean, I'll tell you what, Padres will mustard and more mustard, right?
I have never understood who thought it was a good idea to use brown and mustard yellow for anything to match up together.
Who did that?
The Padres. The Padres uniforms since their inception have been brown and yellow.
With the old, I like the Padre emblem. That was badass.
The one with the friar with the bat.
Yeah. Dylan, you bringing Joe? Hey, Joe. Hey, how the opening night go over there at the land of Buffalo Bill Mafia?
It went very well. We were on for like an hour and 15 minutes and went through a lot of stuff and then even realized, wait a minute, we didn't cover this. We didn't cover that. So we covered a lot of stuff in an hour and 15 minutes and even realized, oh my goodness, we didn't even get to certain things. So I thought it was good first show.
Good. I can't wait to be on your show in a couple of weeks when we discuss Jags Bills.
We mentioned you actually because, we went through the schedule. And so Jamie made a comment too. It's like, yeah, we can't wait to have Dylan on, for that week against the Jaguars there. So
I'll try not to take up the whole time.
You take what you want because it'll be good. But yeah, we look forward to that. That's like week 3, I think. Yeah. Okay.
So what do you guys base your break your running backs down to, Joe?
What did we break?
How's Frank Gore look?
Frank Gore looked great. We talked about that a little bit.
Released.
But they didn't keep him. He had 100 yards. Now, granted, it's, against lower level defense here, but
I think they played Carolina.
Carolina started their main guys, but I think by the time Gore was going, but still he had over 100 yards in the third game. I think in the entire preseason he had like 300. So, I think he did quite well. So I was a little surprised, and that's one of the things we were going to talk about, that like some surprises of people that they let go or that they kept, and that's one of the parts we didn't get to. But I was a little surprised they let Gore go because I thought he was very impressive. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody picks him up.
Could he be a practice squad candidate?
Yes, I think he could be a practice squad candidate. And I was saying that about, they had a couple of backup quarterbacks that played the other day, DiNucci and Brown. And I thought they would end up keeping one of those. I mean, they got Trubisky as the number 2. But I thought they would keep either DiNucci or Brown, and they didn't. They, cut both of them. But I think we mentioned that we could see one of those guys ending up on the practice squad as well.
By the way, at least it beats the Cleveland Browns keeping 4 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster.
I wasn't aware of that, but
I
Wow.
also heard that Kenny Pickett might be traded to Minnesota here in the next couple days as well.
Oh gosh! Oh gosh!
Well, he'd be hooking back up with Jordan Addison. So
Yeah, but Kenny Pickett's bad. He's bad.
yeah, but he was good with Jordan Addison.
Where did he end up? Where is he now?
Philly.
Philadelphia.
Okay.
I mean, the Commanders trading away Johan Dotson. Dotson, that threw me off,
Hmm.
especially in division.
Yeah, John. Yeah, John Dotson going to Philly. That definitely Jalen Hurts had to be going
Yeah.
You know
at
what?
that point when that's his 3. You know.
You know what? I don't think it's got any effect on the division. And we'll save it for next week when we talk NFL picks and all. But I'll give you guys a little bit of a hint. Doesn't have any impact on how I see the NFC East going.
From the people that I've seen and talked to and that kind of stuff, I see a lot of different lists on that 1 through 4. You know, I've seen everybody except the Giants in first place from different people.
They're saying Neighbors looks freaking like a beast.
Yes, Malik Neighbors looks great. The problem is he's playing with maybe the worst quarterback in football, and the Giants couldn't protect a nosebleed.
That's the problem. It's not that Danny Dimes is that horrible, and I'm not saying that he's Joe Burrow, okay? But you can't. And Joe Burrow even had that happen his rookie year. You are going to be a horrible quarterback if you go 1-2, you know, and you have no protection. You got to be able to drop back, do your reads, all that kind of thing. And if you've got a horrible offensive line, I don't care who you put back there. It's not going to matter. If you put Patrick Mahomes behind the New York Giants offensive line, he's an average quarterback at best.
You guys might be more mature than me. You guys remember David Klinger back in the day?
Absolutely. University of Houston.
Well, he played against Pittsburgh, and I think
Played for Cincinnati.
And played against one of his first games I remember him playing was against Pittsburgh, and I think they sacked him 10 times.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I vaguely remember him. I like the way you called us mature and not old. Thank you. But
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I vaguely remember him.
I got a little bit of the stuff going on here.
Sound saying I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
Well, no, I remember because he went to U of H. I was here, you know, being here in Texas and all that, and of course, that was when they were doing the whole run and gun and running that offense that they were scoring. They put 70 points on TCU. They put 77 on SMU. They didn't care. They were putting points up by the bushel, and the only bad part was they couldn't play defense a drop. But boy, David Klingler could sling that ball around the field until he got to the pros.
I remember. I'm at the point where, you know, I can remember what a quarterback did 30 years ago, but I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, you know, so that's the problem here.
And by the way, that was the year after Andre Ware won the Heisman for Houston.
Yep. Yeah, Houston had a stretch there of really good quarterbacks.
In college, it's just that once they went to the NFL, they whoop.
Andre Ware did okay.
No, he didn't even play for the Lions. I mean, I remember Scott Mitchell playing there more than Andre Ware.
Well, Ware had the same situation. He was getting steamrolled every time he dropped back. But, you know, Houston has had some really, you know, they've got a little bit of a lineage, you know, in the NFL.
Mafia guy right there, Jamie.
Hello.
Hello.
Because if I remember correctly, Hey, Jamie, didn't
Hey,
Case Keenum go to Houston?
Yep. By the way, Andre Ware started 6 games for the Lions. Oops.
what are we talking about right now?
University of Houston quarterbacks in the NFL.
David Klinger.
We just mentioned
Yeah,
him.
Klingler, Keenum, Kevin Cobb, Andre Ware.
Oh, how about Clayton Tune now with Arizona?
Yep, Clayton Tune,
Speaking
Greg
of Paris,
Ward, Derek King.
they released Dennett. They released Ritter today.
Yeah, they did.
Atlanta got rid of Desmond Ritter.
Yeah, Arizona dropped him.
Wow.
Desmond Ritter was in Atlanta, Adam.
Oh God!
I heard rumors
with Arthur Smith.
I heard rumors Dallas was going to go after him.
He got traded in the offseason, Jamie, for Rondell Moore.
Then Rondell
Oh,
Moore.
Desmond Ritter's going to go to the Steelers now. He knows Arthur Smith.
I hear Ritter's going. Dallas is talking to Ritter about bringing him in after Trey Lance absolutely 100% wet and pooped the bed the other day.
Ritter might not be.
They're not happy with Trey Lance, huh?
Ritter might not be bad for the Cowboys, though.
Yeah, because he is a similar type of quarterback to Dak Prescott. So
exactly, that's what you want. That's what Dallas is going to want, depending on what happens this year.
All right, gentlemen.
Have 53% of their payroll on 4 players.
Yep,
that's just unheard of.
It's re-signing your core players, Adam, instead of buying everybody else. That's what they're trying to do.
All right,
Jamie, there's 4 players at 53% of the payroll.
Right, it's their core guys. It's CD, Dak, and Micah.
I haven't signed Micah yet.
But they're going to. I mean, come on, they're gonna.
That'll be 5 players. When it's all said and done, they're going to have about 70% of their payroll tied into 7 or 8 guys.
That's
right, because it's called re-signing your core players. That's what you do.
Guys, let's get on track right now. Talking college football tonight. So, does everyone have a team like an alum or an alum playing college football?
I have like four teams that I pay attention to, and I haven't paid attention to any of them this year, so I'm in bad shape. I know I've been a Georgia Tech fan, and they pulled the upset on Saturday, so I was very excited. I'm also a Pitt guy. I'm also a Penn State guy. Don't hate me on this Pittsburgh because I never fell into that hatred rival. I never knew what that rival was between Penn State and Pitt. Growing up, girl I talked to was a Penn State fan, so I was like, I'm not gonna hate them, and I never did.
Shame on you.
And then I'm also a U fan.
Rich.
Are Miami, Georgia Tech, Pitt, and Penn State. And I live in West Virginia, so I should be a Morgantown guy.
Miami's got University of Miami. They got Cam Ward a quarterback now.
From Wazoo, right?
Yep.
Big Rich.
Well, played at Texas Tech. Covered Baylor for 14, 16 years. So I've kind of become a Baylor fan just through osmosis. I covered Robert Griffin and all those guys. So, that's where my 2 main allegiances go besides Pitt.
Joe.
You know what? I used to be a Michigan fan. And ironically, kind of before Harbaugh arrived, I kind of lost interest a little bit at that point and, didn't really have them. I would root for them. I'm 2 hours from Syracuse, so I've always liked Syracuse, but they've been insignificant for a long time. So really now my interest in college football and my favorite team is the one that can win me a bet. That's pretty much where I go and how I follow college football these days.
Can you do DFS in New York for college?
I don't do it because I don't know the players well enough in college. I'm not sure if I think we can in New York, but I just, you're talking about the Georgia Tech game. I had the under because they were playing it in Ireland, and those typically, when they play neutral site, they go under like that. So I'm 1-0 so far, but yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't do college DFS even if we had it here because I just don't know enough about the players. So that's basically it. I just, if I got something riding on a game, I'll watch a little bit of it, and that's pretty much who my allegiance is at this point.
Jamie.
Dr. Schembechler.
I love Schembechler. That's when I first started watching Michigan. Is back. Reggie Leach was their quarterback back in mid 70s. I'm a 10-year-old, and they were killing everybody. Like they were beating people, by 60 points and stuff. I was like, wow, this is a cool team. So I got into Michigan for all that time, and I was a fan when they won their first national championship there, or not their first, but since I was a fan in like '97. This time I didn't care. It didn't, again, by now I was like, okay, good for them. But yeah, I was more of a fan when Schembechler was there, like I said, late 70s and throughout the 80s and 90s.
Jamie?
Syracuse and UB Notre Dame.
I guess I never had any hate for Notre Dame either, James. So I don't know.
My last name's Malloy, so
Yeah.
there you go.
It's gotta be Irish, right, mate?
My last name's McNally. I'm not so sure what Irish one.
I mean, my dad's a big Notre Dame football man. He grew up an Irish Catholic.
Well,
See, I've always had three teams that I couldn't stand, and Notre Dame was one of them. Notre Dame, Texas Tech, and Texas A&M and Penn State.
Florida State was my team.
I think college football, it's so crazy now to as us podcasters, and I feel so bad for us and us podcasters and us college history writers. It's like you had to go through this period of college football, the history of everything when it was obviously the 1970s and everything, and then you go to the BCS, and then you go to the 14 playoff, and then you go to now everything with NIL and transfer portal, and now a 12-team playoff. That's why I love the 12-team playoff now, because I tell everybody that college football has a real postseason now.
Oh, by
Dylan,
the way,
Florida State your favorite?
No. Florida State's the one team I can't. I would love if Florida State went 0-99 this year.
I guess you're not really a big DJ fan, are you, Julian Galilei?
No, but by the way, even though my school doesn't have football, you know what? I don't know if you guys can see it.
What are you showing?
Is it the Gators?
No, we're still undefeated. I wore this shirt to the 2018 Orange Bowl between Oklahoma and Alabama, and even the Alabama fans took notice.
Florida Gulf Coast?
Yeah.
I know them from basketball.
When they beat Georgetown in 2013 as the 15th seed, and Georgetown was the 2 seed. I remember that. I was in high school when that happened. I was
I was getting ready to attend FGC in the summer.
Wow.
I'm getting older by the minute, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm 53. You got me by a couple of years, I think, but
I got you by
I'm
5.
getting older
Yeah.
by the minute. Yeah, I'm getting older listening to these guys. I was in high school in 2013.
I know.
Have any of you ever been in Louisville or just Kentucky in general when one of their teams lost in the NCAA tournament?
Oh
No.
I've got
You want to talk about not being able to hear a pin drop? That's how quiet that place gets.
Wow.
I was down there the year Kentucky lost in the first round. I think it might have been the first 16-1 game in like 2004, 2005, something in there.
I thought Virginia was the first number 1 to lose in 2018.
Yeah, there's only been 2.
And it might have been a number 2. Then it might have been a 215.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, you couldn't hear a fucking pin drop. And this is at Buffalo Wild Wings. The whole place went silent.
It was a 215. I think Louisville. Yeah, Louisville. They lost to Morehead State. I think it was because
No,
Morehead
Kentucky.
State was a 15.
I remember it being the Wildcats.
I think it was Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
Because the
And
following
Louisville-
year, Baylor was a 2, and they lost to Georgia State.
Wow.
What's
Syracuse
the
was
year
a
that the
2
head coach
in
had like
1991, and they lost to Richmond.
oh gosh, wasn't that the year that like R.J. Hunter beat Baylor with some crazy shot, and the coach had just torn his Achilles?
That was Georgia State, yeah.
Uh,
That was a long trip home. Oh,
so,
One of the hardest to see your team go out in the first round that you picked to win it for the NCAA tournament. Is that one of the hardest things to do?
I think so.
I think it.
I don't
It's
think I've
even
ever had
harder
that happen.
now, Adam, with NIL and with transfer portal. It was hard enough.
No, I'm
before
talking about
then, and it's
basketball
even harder now.
I'm talking about
I
basketball.
don't think I've ever had that happen.
I am talking about.
I don't think I've ever had
did
my
say
first- my
basketball. You
champion
got
lose in the
transfer portal
first
in
round.
Basketball too.
second round last year, but not
Second
first.
round, I have, yeah. First
I had
round,
Virginia winning the championship the year they got knocked out by the 16 seed.
Oh,
Oh no!
And of course, they won
That's
it the
the-
next year. Yeah, I was nowhere near
Right.
them then, but I had them winning the whole thing the year that they, broke the record.
I had Kentucky.
and they were supposed to.
Yeah,
They were supposed to mollywop everybody.
yeah.
And
they
Didn't
forgot to
quite
play that
happen.
game.
Okay, so
Wow.
back to this year, guys. I want to talk college football 2024. Obviously, 12-team format,
Mhm.
4 conferences. Goodbye to the Pac-12. Let's start with the ACC.
Pac-12 is packed, man. 2 teams, baby. 2 teams.
Well,
Or-
who's going
would you like
to
heads or tails?
who's going to win the ACC this year? I don't care who starts.
Clemson.
The ACC?
Yes, the Atlantic Crap
Hey,
Conference.
Georgia Tech, I want to know. Let's go.
Miami.
I think it's opened the door for Miami for sure.
They certainly
Uh,
have a chance. I think Clemson's the class of the conference this year.
I'm taking Miami. Why
You
not?
think Clemson, Joe? They really haven't done that much the last. They're not the same Clemson that they once were. I don't think they really are the same team that they used to be.
And again, I'm going to give predictions here that I just admitted I don't know a lot of players, and I'm not as well versed in college football as I am pro. But again, I do know some of the intangibles there that Jamie, what you just said, that Clemson hasn't been that good. Nobody's talking about Clemson anymore, and I think they're still powerful, and I think they're going to sneak up on people, and they're going to say, "Don't forget about us."
Here's what I will say, Joe. They're still going to be good pro players. Like they're going to have a ton of pro players, right? But here's the problem with some of these blue blood programs now in this era. They're not going to be as good of college football players because the era of like taking all these 5-star recruits, that what Dabo Sweeney and what Nick Saban did for years and everything, it's kind of like dying now because you got NIL and you got transfer portal, where like transfer portal is like a quicker way of getting talent, and it replaces having to take a bunch of 5-star recruits.
Well, part of Clemson's problem is that Dabo's not really gone into the transfer portal. He's basically
Exactly, Dylan. That's the thing. The era of just recruiting a bunch of 5-stars without adding any transfers, you can't do that anymore. It's showing that it's not working.
And Clemson's schedule is fairly hard. They've got Georgia this weekend in Atlanta. They go to Tallahassee, and frankly, I don't know how good Clemson will be.
They're
Even though
preseason ranked 14th right now, but they got a tough first game. It's Georgia, obviously.
I don't.
Yeah, and I think
care.
they lose that one, but that's not a conference game.
I don't care about rankings. And by the way, I made this pick before what happened in Dublin. Even though I have no confidence, and speaking of bets,
Very excited over here.
even
Right.
though I made this bet before the game in Dublin, and I actually bet against this team this weekend, I think Miami wins the ACC, and I have no confidence in it because Maury Cristobal has been a bad head coach on Saturday. But getting Ward, I think Miami beats Florida State at Hard Rock Stadium. Even though I think the Gators will beat Miami in the Swamp this weekend, I think it does matter for the ACC rankings. I think and if Miami beats Florida, then the Canes look like the best bet to win the ACC this year.
I think you guys are all.
Florida's
Who do you think?
Florida's one of those. They're hard to figure out. They could either be a basement. They look like a basement dweller one week, and then the next week they look like they're sleepers. You don't know.
Florida's last 5 game stretch might be the hardest I've ever seen in college
Their
football.
whole schedule's the hardest.
Yes, you're right. 11 group Power 4 teams. I mean, Georgia in Jacksonville, at Texas, Ole Miss, LSU, and at Florida State.
Yeah, but you know what I think. You know what I think is great about that schedule. It means Graham Mertz is going to eventually get pulled, and that way they can throw DJ Lagway into the Lions den early.
They're not going to play DJ. They're not going to play the freshman, and they're not going to play the freshman in Alston.
Yeah, but it depends where they're going to be record wise. I mean, I don't think Graham Mertz can survive that schedule because at least Lagway is a dual threat quarterback, and that's what you need.
Yeah, but Billy Napier's coaching for his job. If Florida goes 5-7 again, he gone. Rich, who do you have winning the ACC?
But that's a hard schedule for anybody, Dylan. Even for a coach that isn't coaching for his job, that's the hardest schedule probably ever created in the history of the game.
You guys are missing the 800-pound gorilla in the room. I understand that they lost last week. Florida State's winning the ACC. They're coming out pissed off, and they're running through everybody come the rest of the conference season. I got Florida State winning it all and making the playoffs.
Yeah, but Rich, do you like DJ Uiagalelei as their quarterback?
I do.
Because I
love their defense. I love their defense.
He's one of those guys that was supposed to be the great hope at Clemson. He just never developed into that.
I just showed everyone how to beat Florida State, and that's run the damn ball. They had 3 rushing touchdowns.
Like I said, DJ Uiagalelei's turned out to be great at Oregon State and Florida, but he never really developed into the next great one at Clemson like we thought he would.
Yeah, I still think Florida State wins that conference.
Okay, so
I have an idea. Florida State, Clemson, in the title game, DJ Uiagalelei gets his revenge against his former team.
Wait a minute, Florida State already got a loss, and they still have to play. They still have to play Clemson and Miami.
It's a long season.
Yeah, but you got to remember they don't do divisions anymore. It goes by top 2 records in the conference. It's not divisions anymore.
Big 12, fellow.
In conference loss.
Big 12, I think. I got Utah. Cam Rising and that coach always seem to step up in big moments. Even he did that in the Pac-12.
This is your conference, buddy. Who do you have?
Well, I can tell you what I don't have. I don't have Baylor. They're going to be horrible. I mean, 4-8 Baylor. I'm saying it now. Sorry, guys. 4-8 Baylor. Man, I'll tell you what. If they don't win it, they're going to play for it. Kansas State. their
Wow.
coaching staff and what they've done with that team for the last 3 years has been tremendous. And the way that they've turned that thing around, it's made Kansas State viable again. And I've had a chance to get to know Kleiman over the few years. He and Leopold, who is at Kansas, are both tremendous coaches, and they've done a great job of turning programs around. I think Kansas State, Kansas is going to determine your Big 12 champion. How about that?
Lance Leipold started at UB. There you go.
I was also going Kansas State, Rich.
Great minds think alike.
I just feel the same way you do. Just watching them play, they got speed. Oklahoma State's
Joe.
good though.
It's funny because I have Kansas State in the conference championship game, but I have them losing to Utah. I think just the lack of familiarity with Utah, and they're high quality. I think Utah takes it, but I think they beat Kansas State to get there.
See, Joe, you picked my brain because what did I say? Utah's, look at what they did in the Pac-12 last year when nobody gave them a shot to beat USC, but they always seem to prove everybody wrong, and they just show up when the conference championship season starts. Utah does.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, John.
John, we are on the Big 12 conference. Who you got?
Come back to me.
Oh, the other
my fourth show today. I'm toast. So I'll do what I can. Do what I can.
And you 5 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, whole night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
how did the last show go? How was the last show?
Oh, fucking amazing! I've never worked with these folks before, but Princess Skywalker was amazing. Jen from Kicking Out at 2, his podcast, they were awesome. We just did an AEW rundown from All In. They were awesome sauce the whole nine. Yeah, good stuff. So they were great to work with, and hopefully we do some more stuff with them in the future. Absolutely.
All right, sounds good, buddy.
Dylan, what are you saying?
You know what, guys? I think you're all wrong. I think a 7th-year quarterback's going to win the Big 12 this year, just not the one at Utah. I think Alan Bowman at Oklahoma State will win the Big 12 this year.
Mike Gundy will figure out a way to screw it up.
No, you know what?
Go after me. I'm a man, and I'm 40.
Mike Gundy is
What's
due
me?
Mike Gundy is due to win the Big 12. And maybe having Texas and
love Mike
Oklahoma
Gundy.
out of the conference just helps the Cowboys.
I'm due to hit the lottery too. It's not going to happen. It's just, I'm sorry. I know that's your pick and that, but Mike Gundy will figure out some way, somehow in a big game to completely 100% screw the pooch. Whether it's a bad play call, whether it's a bad assignment, whatever. He just finds a way in a big game to screw something up, and then it costs his team the ability to win the conference. Player-wise, they could do it. But, I mean, really, any of the ones that we've picked, I like Utah. Utah's very good. Oklahoma State's very good. Of course, a couple of us picked Kansas State. But I'm not singling you out, Dylan, by any stretch. But Mike Gundy just drives me, and I've seen it happen too many times.
That's why it's so weird, because without Texas and Oklahoma, it's a wide open. The Big 12 is a wide open conference this year.
Exactly.
It's been wide open with Texas and Oklahoma. That's what a lot of people didn't understand.
Yeah,
For the last 10 years, the Big 12 has been the most wide open conference in college football.
Because it has a reputation of being all offense but no defense in the Big 12. That's why.
And because Texas got the bed until 2023.
Say again?
And until 2023, last season, Texas crapped the bed every other year.
Well, just wait till they see what they do this year.
They got no, but Texas has got a guy who knows the SEC, Sarkisian.
The problem is the Longhorns don't have any running backs.
They go running
Well, the
back
other
by
problem,
committee.
too-
That's what you do. You do that in the NFL now. You do that in college.
Texas's top
problem-
2 running backs are out for the season.
Then you go by
Texas
committee,
is-
Dylan.
The guy that wears 3 for Texas is going to be the problem in the SEC for Texas. I tell you this now.
So what? He might. So what?
I said it, but I said it a couple weeks ago. Quinn Ewers is horrible.
So what? He's better
I
than
think-
out. So what?
No,
He's better
because
than
he's what I think.
Alabama's quarterback.
Rich may disagree with what I'm going to say here, but he's leading on to something. The guy's not a good SEC quarterback, but he could be a good pro prospect. There's a difference between those
He could
two
be.
things.
He could be. And Texas has not had a good pro quarterback since Vince Young. But Texas just, I mean, it's been amazing when you look at the last like 20 years of UT football, the quarterbacks they really could have had, including a guy named Griffin, that they completely bypassed and brought in somebody else. You know, they could have had Patrick Mahomes. They brought in David Ash, who played 3 games, got concussion symptoms, and has never seen the field since as a player.
They did
Great
get
coach.
They did get
Hell of a
Shane
high school
Buechele,
coach.
though.
Huh?
They did get Shane Buechele before he transferred.
Had Shane Buechele, had Major Applewhite. You know, they had some quarterbacks, but they didn't have those guys that they could have had that turned out to blossom at Texas Tech or Texas A&M or
A lot of
Baylor
that too,
or
Rich.
someplace else throughout the country.
You got to remember, a lot of those other quarterbacks were pre-transfer portal. Shane Buechele was pre-transfer portal, and then he had the advantage of playing into the transfer portal era, so he bailed.
But I'm just saying, Texas and quarterbacks, not a good scenario.
Then again, this is where I feel bad for us, because when you debate college football, you got to do everything pre-transfer portal. Now when you debate everything, it's in the transfer portal era.
John,
Tough.
now we're moving to the Big Ten. So obviously 4 new additions with USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington. Who's winning the Big Ten this year?
You definitely don't start with me. If you want to come back after you check with someone else, I'll have an answer for you.
Adam.
There you go.
I like the Ducks, but you know, oh shit.
Over Ohio State.
Here's the funny thing: there's not going to be one undefeated team left in the Big 12. It's going to be a crap.
You mean Big Ten?
Whatever.
And you got Oregon. You got Oregon over Ohio State, or Ohio State runs the Big Ten.
Well, there's new clients in town now, Jamie.
All right,
Ohio
Jamie.
State's so projected to be to win the Big Ten and be a number 1 or number 2 seed, as long as they got Trayvon Henderson.
Oregon's the number 3 seed.
So what? The Big Ten loser is going to end up probably hosting a first-round game.
Ohio State's still getting into the playoff.
Yeah.
Big Rich.
I'm going Oregon. I think Oregon, handles the conference. I love the quarterback play with Dylan Gabriel. I think they're going to play tremendous ball, and they're going to bring a little different style into the Big Ten that they haven't really seen much of. They've seen a little bit of, but not a whole lot of, in other teams in the conference. I like what Oregon's putting on the table, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure. I mean, okay, let's go to the tote board here, folks. How many Michigan games has Ryan Day won?
None. Evan reminded us.
As many
of
as
that.
I have. So, Ryan Day and big games. I'm not even looking at them being in the Big 10 championship game.
What? Who do you have in the Big Ten title game, man?
Let me guess,
tell you-
Oregon and who do you have? Oregon against who?
Penn State.
Penn State's not being Ohio State. James Franklin hasn't won a big game since that blocked field goal 8 years ago.
The only game James
In-
Franklin won was having Key on the sidelines impersonating him, Michael Key from Key and Peele.
In the words of you, Dylan, when we were talking about the Big 12, they're due.
And by the way, I think Penn State makes the playoff, but Penn State's not winning.
And by the way, Penn State, Ohio State is in Happy Valley.
I know. And last
And
year,
Mo Bamba will be playing every time Ohio State takes the field on first down in the background, and the Penn State wideout fans will be singing at the student section. It's great.
Joe.
Yeah, there's a bunch of new kids in town, but I think the old kid in town takes it. I think Oregon is a playoff team. You were just talking about Ohio State and Day not being able to beat Michigan. This is the year it happens. Ohio State takes the conference.
And Joe, I just want to say one thing. I'm going to do a musical reference here like we do on our shows. These new kids are going to still have to take it step by step when you're playing Ohio State.
John.
Bruh. Honestly, Big Ten, right?
Yep.
Nebraska looks
Let's
really
hear
good.
your bold take. Dylan already has enough bold takes. We want to hear yours.
No, I think I have Nebraska taking it.
That's a bold take.
Aside from Ohio State and OSU, I mean, though a lot of those games they can be competitive in, and really come out on the other side of winning a lot of those games. Obviously, every year they have that. There's a lot of games they also leave on the table. It's also Matt Huell's second year there. But
And they got that kid. They got that freshman kid who they flipped from Georgia.
Dylan Raiola, who will probably be the number one pick in 2027.
So I think Nebraska has a really good shot. Like I said, obviously, are they going to be beating Ohio State? Probably not, but they can definitely be competitive. I think OSU watching them play against them will be good too. But a lot of those games are winnable for them, and I definitely see them in it down the stretch.
Do you think the freshman kid's ready for that right away, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that as a dark horse, man. I really do. I know what Matt Rule did at Baylor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now with the second year, a little more comfortable, a little more with everything. Some of the players there.
Fran Brown did the recruiting at Baylor with under Matt Rule, and guess who he's coaching now? Fran Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Syracuse.
So
here's what's going to happen in the Big Ten this year. I think Oregon beats Ohio State in Eugene, but Ohio State wins the rematch in Indianapolis. Ohio State's far too talented. They've got two running backs who'll be playing on Sunday, an All-American wide receiver, bunch of pass rushers, corners on defense, and like Michigan last year, a lot of these Ohio State players could have declared for the NFL draft. They want to win a national championship. Ohio State's been able to play against Georgia, against Michigan. It's just that Colin McCord was not a top quarterback. And Chip Kelly might end up being the biggest addition any college football team made because this Ohio State team lacked physicality. It lacked a running game. Ohio State's going to pound the rock this year. Will Howard might have to throw the ball 15 to 20 times. And Ohio State will win the Big Ten. And I don't even think that game be close in Indianapolis.
Hey, what do we talk about, Dylan? And you, it's the same thing. It's what I listen to all the time. I still think even though football is a passing, air it out game, you still got to be able to ground and pound in situations where you need to do it. And you said it there with Ohio State. You still got to have a running game, even though we devalue the running backs. We don't pay them anymore. We don't draft them high. You still got to pound the rock when your passing game isn't working. And if you're good at it, run the ball till they can't stop it.
By the way, question for you guys. How many times did Michigan throw the ball in the second half against Penn State last year?
I believe that's
probably like 8. But that's what Harbaugh does.
0.
Harbaugh's going to do the same thing with Herbert with Herbert and the Chargers. They're going to pound the rock there too.
Yeah, they rammed Corum down Penn State's throat.
No, but they also ran Donovan.
Donovan Edwards.
Donovan. They ran Donovan Edwards down Kalen DeBoer's defense's throat in the championship game.
Okay, last but not least, SEC. Obviously, Nick Saban's gone. OU and Texas joined the conference. So, who's winning the SEC this year? I don't care who starts.
Yawn. Who's been the two teams dominating this conference forever now?
There's 4 ranked in the top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Joe,
Alabama,
gone.
Georgia fight it out.
One of those coaches is gone now. Remember that. He's retired.
I know. Alabama's still there. Georgia takes it, though. They play in the championship game. I feel like it's going to be like
a good coach, but he's not Nick Saban. I'm sorry.
No, obviously not.
Nick Saban wasn't Nick Saban until he had 20 years under his belt.
Yeah. There's so many good teams.
And then he got exposed once the transfer portal era hit because a lot of his guys moved out and he didn't have the depth players that he used to have.
So speaking of Georgia, I got to talk to Trey today, and he was doing a show, and he will have one released tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Just to let everyone know there will be a Georgia show released at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Anyway.
The reason why Nick Saban retired now is because he knows that he couldn't coach in this era now of NIL and transfer portal. And he'll tell you that too on shows. He'll say
there's about
that
8
too.
teams that have a chance to win this conference, and it's going to just be the same movie that we've seen forever, I think, anyway. So
I don't know. I think it could be Georgia and Texas, or Georgia and Ole Miss. Who knows? I think Ole Miss might finally have something to say now with the 12-team playoff.
I think Texas struggles in this conference to start. I think they're overhyped, and I don't think they're in the mix, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but they got Arch Manning in the fold, so there you go.
Yeah.
Big Rich.
SEC, I mean, I got to go Georgia. I think Missouri is going to make a showing. They're getting better every year. But I get a funny feeling it's going to come down to Georgia and Ole Miss, simply on quarterback play. I like the quarterback play at Ole Miss. I think that, Jamie, you were talking about pro-ready quarterbacks. I think you have a pro-ready quarterback at Ole Miss.
No, wait a minute.
I think Georgia and
this is where I disagree with you, Rich. I think Ewers is the better pro quarterback. Jackson Dart's a better SEC quarterback.
Hey guys, Evan's gonna try and pop on here in about 5 minutes.
But
I still think I love Jackson Dart. I put him as my 3rd quarterback ranking in the SEC. On my article.
Some of you guys are giving Texas way too much in this conference.
So is Joe Klatt. Well, Joe Klatt is the guy from Fox. He has Texas against Georgia, and he's a professional media guy.
I understand. I've worked with Joel Klatt. Doesn't matter. He hasn't picked the Big 12 right in 10 years. But Texas loses. I think Texas loses to OU. They lose to Georgia. They lose to Florida. And they're going to lose at Kyle Field. They're going to have 4 at least SEC losses.
You know what I think? You know what I think happens to Texas this year?
8-4 in your first year in the SEC really isn't that bad though for a school like that. It isn't.
We're going to
8-4 is middle of the pack
in that conference.
Hey,
so that conference is the toughest conference in the country. So
I'm looking at Texas' schedule right now, and yes, it's hard, but it's not Florida's schedule. I mean, Colorado State, at Michigan, UTSA, Louisiana Monroe, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Georgia, Vandy, Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, and A&M. Honestly,
There's 4 losses in there.
Texas
Or maybe
A&M is
5
gonna be
conference
good with
losses in there.
Elko and Connor Weigman.
Honestly,
And Arkansas on the road is not going to be a walk in the park, guys.
I think that Michigan game's going to tell us.
Get my own Dallas jersey and bring out my Felix Jones jersey.
I think that Michigan game's going to tell us all we need to know about Texas. And if Texas wins that game, I think the Longhorns beat Georgia in the regular season, but Georgia wins the rematch in Atlanta because Georgia on a neutral field is better.
Michigan is going to run Texas off the field.
No, I think Texas
Michigan doesn't have a quarterback this year.
Michigan doesn't have a coach.
Yeah, I agree with Rich, though. I think Texas is overrated. I honestly do.
What does Michigan have this year? They got nothing.
No, they're not going to be in the mix.
I'm telling you right now, I think Michigan loses 4 or 5 games.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But
4 or 5 total games.
But see, here's what we talked about with this 12-team format. Remember, Evan said it. You're gonna see that now because it's gonna be like the NFL where 1 or 2 losses in college now, it ain't gonna kill you it's not gonna be sink or swim like it used to be with the previous postseason format.
True, but 8-4 ain't getting you in the playoffs. I don't care who you are.
So wait,
and I think Texas and Oklahoma have a similar record.
No, I think Oklahoma loses. I think Oklahoma loses a minimum of 4 times, maybe 5. I think Texas goes at once 10-2.
But the one thing about Oklahoma though is I like Brett Venables though as coach.
I mean, even Georgia's schedule. I mean, Clemson and Atlanta, Kentucky at Alabama, Auburn at Texas, Florida at Ole Miss, Tennessee. Georgia's not going 12.
And don't forget Hugh Freeze.
Don't have to go.
Freeze at Auburn. Hugh Freeze is known for pulling off some miracles in certain games.
You mean Lane Kiffin?
But you
right?
guys got to remember the very important. You guys keep talking about this 12-team playoff. You don't have to go 12-0 to get to play for the national championship anymore. If you go 10-2, you got a legit shot of getting into the playoffs. There might even be a 3-loss team get in.
I'm saying this is what I said. I tell everybody now. College football finally has a real postseason. This is what the postseason should have always been.
True.
Yep. Evan, welcome, and we're talking college football. Do you have any picks for the ACC, Big 12, Big 10, and SEC?
As far as like who's making it,
who's winning the conference?
Who's going to win the conference?
The Big 10 is going to be between Ohio State and Oregon.
We're on a vote on that.
Right in the middle of the.
What'd you say, Jamie?
Nothing. Rick, we were just. How do you feel about I'll ask you something, Evan. How do you feel about 8-4 is in the middle of the pack, right? But how do you feel about a team that goes 8-4, but you have a 12-team playoff now, whereas 8-4 in the BCS was considered really bad, and then 8-4 still wasn't good in a 4-team playoff. But now that you have an extended playoff that looks like a real postseason, 8-4 is Rich was saying, it's still the middle of the pack, but it's a lot more challenging now when it's a 12-team playoff. So I mean, I'm basing it off of, do you think this should have been the playoff? This should have been the postseason to begin with? Because I was telling everybody on here that college football now has a real postseason that it never had for years.
So I agree that it does have a real postseason now, but do I think they should have started the college football playoff with 12 teams? Absolutely not. Because if you started it with more teams, anything more than 4, you would have had way too much controversy with going with a smaller number and allowing it to be 4. You get to work out the kinks before you decide to grow what your actual playoff would be. Now, as far as 8 and 4 teams, I don't think it's really going to make a difference. I agree with the idea that they're still the middle of the pack. The reason I agree with the idea that they're the middle of the pack is because NIL deals and the conference realignment hasn't shown anything yet. And even the first 2 seasons, I don't think it'll really show us what is what. Because
or transfer portal too, right?
Right. Because all of that has to play out now. Okay, well, how does Oregon, how does UCLA, how do those teams recruit in the Big Ten? How does Texas continue their success and continue to recruit not Big 12 talent but SEC talent? How does
Clemson still continue to recruit 5 stars and everything and guys that go to the pros, but under Dabo Swinney, they never get transfer guys either.
Exactly. So all of that has to play out. And until that does play out, 84 is going to be like a Boise State, Oklahoma game. If you remember what I'm talking about, it's either going to be a bunch of trick plays that wins the game late, or they're going to get their ass whooped. And until all of that transitions and levels itself out, we won't really know. Now, when it does level itself out, my prediction is that once it does, you're going to have multiple 8 and 4, 10 and 2 teams, but you'll have a level playing field. You'll have an Arkansas that's not a flash in the pan. You'll have a Kansas that's really improving and winning. You'll have schools that aren't traditionally powerhouses or flash in the pan schools that really have a chance now because they can enter the transfer portal, win their conference, win the MAC, win the Sun Belt, and have an opportunity. So once the playing field levels out, I think it'll truly be what you're talking about. But until then, and I think it'll be 3 to 5 years, but until then, not yet. They're just going to get dog walked.
See, the reason why I feel like it, in my opinion, I totally agree with you said. You bring the facts and everything, which I love that about you, Evan. You do that, and
Appreciate that.
I wish more people were like that. And but what I'm saying is like I was one of those guys that, like I said, when I first started watching college football, I got sick and tired of the BCS system too. So like I felt like that wasn't a good system. And then I gave the 4-team playoff a chance, which I liked in the beginning. But then I realized that, okay, college football finally needs like a real postseason that they haven't had. And I feel like this is the first year where they have it.
Yeah, I always said there was no such thing as the BCS. It was just the BS. And
that was garbage, the BCS. That whole thing was.
Well, yeah, the fact that USC got left out of the Sugar Bowl against LSU was a joke when Oklahoma lost to Kansas State by 4 touchdowns. But,
So the question I have for everybody as far as college football goes, since this is what we're talking about, is I don't want to open this. Stop Google, stop it. Anyway, sorry about that. The question that I have is, do you see the playing field level out, or do you see the real heavy hitters leave the conferences and take Notre Dame and form something different under an umbrella that is agreed to under the NCAA?
I see the playing field level out. It's going to eventually be like any other postseason in any other sport.
honestly, I think the Big Ten and the SEC are just going to dominate because the Big Ten and SEC have so much more revenue coming in, and with NIL, I think college football players are just going to pick Big Ten and SEC schools.
How do you do a 12-team with just 2 conferences, though? Would that be complicated?
The Power 5 4 conferences each get at least 1 team. then a Group of 5 team, and then potentially now Notre Dame can't get a top 4 seat, but the Irish could certainly host a first round game.
They
And
could.
And then
But I'm saying
there's-
Notre Dame's just happy that, like I said, with a 12 team that they're guaranteed to basically get in every year if they keep winning. That's what I'm happy about, at least with Notre Dame. I'm just happy that they're going to be in the conversation now because it's a 12 team. I don't think they have to get a top 4 bye with the way the 12 team is, with the way these teams are now.
Well, but
But
they
that-
still
but
have to
that-
play well because you're not going to have a 4-loss team in the playoffs. That's just not going to happen. You're going to have 3 or fewer losses to get into this thing. I firmly believe that.
Right. I just like
So-
the fact that a loss or two does it. It changes the narrative now of college football in a positive way where you always had to go undefeated and now a loss or two won't kill you anymore. That's why I love it.
am I crazy
Right.
for saying that a 9-3 Boise State couldn't end up winning the Mountain West?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you're not. But they don't have any other competition. So that's why I'm saying the level out thing. But the question that I have for Rich is that, or for all of you guys, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, USC, and Iowa, 5 teams that can really make a difference and can all lose 4 to 5 games and still be at the top of the Big Ten. Then you go to the SEC. You got Texas, you got Georgia, you got Alabama. You have Rich. I know you don't believe in Texas, but you have those 4 teams. You got Tennessee, who has a new good quarterback. That's another 5 schools right there. You telling me that at least 1 or 2 of those teams is not going to have at least 3 or 4 losses in the next?
No. I didn't say 3.
That's exactly my point, Evan. And Joe, remember
said
when you
4.
said nobody was talking about Clemson?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's really talking about Tennessee either. That's a one team that I don't think anybody's talking about because everybody's saying, "Oh, they Joe Milton left," but they got that Nico Emovea kid now who looks like he.
But let's look at bare minimums, okay? You've got the 4 conference championships and the 5, the pack of 5 or whatever they're calling them. Okay, that's 5 teams. You've got the second place team from the Power 4 conferences. That's 9.
Mm-hmm.
First and second place in any of those conferences is going to have less than 4 losses, right?
Less than 3, probably.
So wait.
Right. So now you're only hunting for 3 more teams. Are you honestly going to tell me there's not going to be 3 more teams throughout the country that's going to have less than 4 losses?
So wait, let's just say hypothetically, 3 teams getting from the SEC, 3 from the Big Ten, 1 each from the Pac-12 and from the Big 12 and ACC, a group of 5 team in Notre Dame. That's 10 teams. So then you're either talking a second ACC or Big 12 team, or a full SEC or Big 10 team.
Yes, I'm saying that a 4-loss Georgia team who lost 4 close. Let's just say Georgia loses 4 close games, right? And they don't make the conference championship because they lost 4 close games. But all the other powerful teams that they played that are in the championship or in the playoffs, they got 2 to 3 losses, and they got 1 extra loss. And we say Notre Dame is 1. You telling me you're not going to pick a Georgia, or you won't pick an Ohio State if they have 1 extra loss? They've been dominating those 4 games.
But this is where the subjectivity has to go away. And we talked about this a while back. If you're not basing this off of margin of victory and strength of schedule and all this other good stuff, a win is a win, a loss is a loss.
Right, but that's why. But that's what, Rich. I'm agreeing, but that's why
I don't care if they go 8-4 and they lose to Oregon, Ohio State, LSU, and Clemson. Okay, those are their 4 losses. I don't care if there's 12 teams that have less than 4 losses. Georgia ain't in.
But why does North Texas deserve it if they didn't win their championship? They got 1 loss, and they went undefeated, but their schedule is shit. And Georgia had the toughest schedule in the league.
Okay, but again,
Because they won their conference.
we're eliminating strength of schedule. We're eliminating points of margin of victory. We're not making this subjective. We're making it wins and losses. The only guarantees are your 4 Power 4 conference champions, and the strongest power whatever they're calling it conference.
Group
Okay.
of 5.
Group of 5.
And then the next 7 are the next 7 records. So if Ohio State
not
is next,
necessarily.
then they go
Not
in. If
necessarily.
Florida State is next, then they go in. And it just works itself down.
Not necessarily. I mean, what if somebody pick a random team in the country? Pick a random.
UB.
Kansas.
Let's just say Kansas goes 12-1, loses a Big 12 title game to
Iowa State.
Iowa State, but pick another team from like a Big 10 or SEC conference.
Colorado.
What did you say, Rich?
Northwestern.
Yeah, I was going to
Let's
say
say
the same thing.
Northwestern goes 10-2. 10-2,
Okay.
but loses 10-2.
There's always going to be teams left out.
But Northwestern hypothetically played a stronger schedule.
We're eliminating strength. We're eliminating the subjectivity. That's where you guys are not understand where I'm going with this. Strength of schedule doesn't count. Margin of victory doesn't count.
Wait a minute.
All those
So wait.
subjective
But
things don't count.
So
But we
wait a
can't
minute.
take that away because that's how they scored. That's how they rank teams. Unless once everybody has a loss, they are ranked by those things that we're eliminating.
So wait, the Ohio State beating Wisconsin 59-0 didn't vault the Buckeyes in the 2014 playoff?
That maybe in 2014.
In 2014, it did because subjectivity was a part of it. What I'm saying is, if you're going to do this the right way, the only conceivable way that a team with 4 losses or more is going to get in is if by some stroke of luck they end up in their conference championship game, and you would have maybe, let's say, just for argument's sake, 4-loss Georgia playing 1-loss LSU, and Georgia beats LSU, so they win the championship. Okay, now they're a conference champion, they're automatically in. Outside of that, forget it. You're going to have to go off the best teams in the country. And that's you can't that's what we have to do is get rid of all this subject. Well, you beat this team by this much and that team by that much, and this team was 8-3, but they played a crap schedule. It's not their fault. It's just not their fault that their schedule is off.
I agree with that 1,000%. Now, I think we're overcomplicating it because I think maybe when we're talking 11 or 12, you'll get a 3-loss team. I think we're going to be talking about 1-2-loss teams.
I think there'll be 3-loss teams. Yeah.
Maybe. But I agree with you, Rich, 1,000%. Every one of these power conference teams have murderous schedules. So everybody's got a tough schedule. So I don't think you can compare that anymore. Wins are wins, losses are losses. And maybe that's
I don't know the process
when you talk about some of the non-power 4 teams, and then it gets complicated that, like Evan said it, I think you get a 1-loss team, but they don't compare to a 3-loss team in a big conference. But I just think everybody's got murderous schedules here. Wins are wins, losses are losses. And I think it's going to play out the fact that we're not going to be having too many 3 or 4-loss teams in this thing. Maybe towards the bottom of it, but that's it.
All right. So
It's Joe. What did John say the last time we talked about this? They want to do the playoffs as a feeder to the NFL. And remember, like you said, John, in the NFL, they don't do any of that subjectivity. A win's a win, a loss is a loss.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
And that's what they're trying to do in college now. It's the same thing.
John, how big of a loss was Eli Mitchell today?
Bad, but nothing that we can't recover from. If it was like Debo or something like that, or Bosa, I'd be a little concerned. But I mean, it's nothing we can't really come back from and compensate for down the road.
Bunga
Mason-
get hurt.
Oh,
Mason's good. I mean, McCaffrey obviously has a heavy load like he did last year. Mason's good. They did let Breda go. Maybe someone they go back and bring in as a third down back or situational back. They kind of let load off McCaffrey in games that are kind of already blowouts. So yeah, nothing too crazy. It sucks. It's never cool to lose lose somebody like that. They can definitely help you in your season, but injuries happen, and I think it's something we can kind of get around and still be successful.
Did Bunga get hurt again?
Who?
Bunga.
Ufunga? He just came off the pup list.
Right. It says it's questionable already.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to probably play one or two for being just coming off the pup list. So he's probably going to do some reps, get in camp, get some reps on sometimes with the first round team. Probably see him to week 2 or 3, probably getting a regular amount of snaps.
Hey, John.
Any word on this Ayuk deal? Is it coming out before Monday?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Now with CeeDee Lamb getting paid, I don't know, man.
Brent Williams.
28-29 was amazing. Now if I'm BA, I'm like, fuck you guys. This guy's got 30 guaranteed and 86 guaranteed. Let's go. So
What's going to
just keep
happen?
going up.
What's going to happen with Trent Williams?
He's all in or out. He wants to get paid. He wants that money, man. I don't blame him in the least. The man's a talent. He's generational. He's great on that line. Any line you plug him into, he's a force. He needs that bag. If I had to choose between the two, BA needs to go. I think I said it a couple weeks ago on here. He needs to go. It's a problem. You don't want to sign a damn contract. Sit, do whatever the hell you want to do. But he needs to be paid, man. Trent needs to get that bag. You need him on that line, regardless. You got to choose between the two. And like Brock's going to get hit. The elephant in the room is Brock Purdy's contract. That's coming up soon. A lot of bad decisions. You can't have everybody. You got to let somebody go. And I think Ayuk is probably the collateral damage where you still have enough around Purdy to be successful.
Okay, now
Now Frisco go after Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook is signed to the practice squad of the Dallas Cowboys.
no, Dalvin Cook's not interfering with. I think Rico Dowdle's the number 1 back in Big D this year.
I like Rico Dowell.
Me too. I got him in every league.
For everybody, 2 questions.
Arizona
One,
ain't Zeke.
for everybody, 2 questions. One, what is the
Another
biggest
question.
college football game of the year?
Wait, I had a question.
What could be the college football game of the year? Let me
That's
think.
an easy question.
Why did you guys keep 4 quarterbacks?
Who? Who kept
Cleveland.
Why
We
did your
didn't
Browns?
quarterback.
We did.
No, we didn't. 2 of them are on the trade block. Look, Jameis Winston, there's been an offer made by Minnesota for Jameis Winston, and there's been an offer made on the West Coast, and I'm trying to figure out that team, but there's been an offer made on the West Coast for Tyler Huntley. They'll be gone by Monday morning.
I thought DTR was your biggest trade aspect right now.
No. Him and Ken Dorsey have a great relationship. He is
Eddie Dorsey, Joe. Did you hear that?
they have stuck together. They have been on each other like white on rice. That relationship has been reported to be very well.
Hey, he's worked with a similar style quarterback to him in Buffalo. So I mean, an RPO guy like that,
right?
Dorsey would have a good relationship with DTR.
And I think that it's more about moving on from Huntley, but here's the reason that Winston is on the trade block as well. There's somebody that's going to trade a 3rd round pick. There's somebody that's going to have a quarterback injury between now and week 1. It always happens. It never fails. And Minnesota is a great option. They were already talking about making a trade for a quarterback and an offensive lineman while they were doing joint practices. So although he made the first 53, doesn't mean he makes the final 53 for week 1. So I'm telling you right now that one or if not both will be traded.
Is he only going to go to Arizona?
I know he got fired by the Bills of him, but I think he'll be good with Cleveland, Kenny Dorsey.
I do too. I like it. What did you say, Adam?
You think Huntley goes to Arizona? They just released Ritter.
I think he goes to Dallas. I think that Trey Lance is going to be replaced. Unless I've already missed the news, because like I said to you in the text message, I just got home like 30 minutes ago. So, but Trey Lance's look like trash, and I think even if they want to keep him, I think a guy like Huntley can go there for a 6th-round pick, 7th-round pick, if there's nobody else there that's on the market. I don't know what Arizona's going to do because I don't think that they're going to keep Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is going to be gone after the season.
Huh?
And I do have another question too. Knowing we're going to Brazil and green is the big gang color down there. So what colors are these Eagles and Packers going to be wearing in Brazil? And Josh Jacobs said it's horrible down there. They can't even leave their hotel rooms. And if they do leave, they got to leave with guards. They're fully armed. And they're saying it's miserable down there. I don't even know why the NFL is allowing it.
Green Bay could do white and yellow. But what's Philly going to do?
No, like they're not allowed to wear any green there, or else they could be shot and killed.
No, that's what I'm saying. Green Bay could do white and yellow and still be within their colors. Unless the Eagles go all white and with black numbers.
Actually, they can take it way back and go yellow and blue. That light blue that they used to wear.
Yeah.
Guys,
What's up?
look at what this Twitter account, Jack Sports Talk, wrote for his fantasy guys. He said 2024 my guys, quarterback Jared Giraffe Goff, Kyler Murray, and then it says Deshaun Butt Rubs Watson.
What the?
I don't think Deshaun does well in fantasy this year, but I do think that he stays healthy.
The guy put that on his Twitter.
Evan, I hope he throws for 900 yards and 37 touchdowns week 1.
Deshaun.
Look at what he does the rest of the year.
Oh,
Week
yeah, because we're
one,
playing Dallas.
You got that right. I hope he beats them like they stole something. I don't care.
He'll give one of the Dallas cheerleaders a massage
think we lose.
after the game.
Oh, I don't.
I do.
No.
I think we lose. Our defense is great, but here's the problem: we got to face a healthy Michael Parsons, and both of our starting, one of our starting tackles hasn't participated all offseason, and the other one has only done joint practices.
The Cowboys' run defense is the absolute drizzling shits. Jerome Ford will go for 100 against them. I have very little doubt of that.
That's what the
if
Bills
Jerome
did
Ford
last
goes for
year. They
100
ran
against
Dallas'
Dallas, then I with the defense that Cleveland's going to play, I think that they're going to keep Dallas on their toes enough that Micah's not going to matter. He's not going to be able to just pin his ears back and blitz.
Here's the question: we don't.
You got one of the best defensive coordinators. You got Jim Schwartz. I love that guy. That guy. If there's one thing that he's always done well with his defenses is stopping the run. It's not just getting after the quarterback, but his defenses know how to shut down running games.
I agree with that, but let's talk about if that's what we're going to talk about. Let's talk about the defense. Dalvin Tomlinson hasn't participated due to an injury. The Hall kid that we drafted from Ohio State has been put on the commissioner's exempt list. Maurice Hurst didn't participate, was hurt. Shelby Harris got hurt twice in the preseason. Who we got left?
Jim Schwartz is pretty good at working with talent like that, because when the Bills had injuries, the same thing too. And when he was with the Bills, and they had one of the best defenses in the league in 2014.
Were they hurt week 1? Did you also have a linebacker that's expected to start that didn't participate in anything but joint practices, and then in the very first joint practice
he did? Nico Alonso, he was out he missed the entire season.
But you had everybody else. We don't know when these guys are going to start, and that's my point. Nobody. The reason I think we lose week 1 is because nobody of significance has played anything other than a joint practice. And until that is a even playing field for every team in the NFL, when they finally get rid of the preseason, I think I don't see it. Would I be surprised if we win? No. But would I be shocked if we lost? Absolutely not. I think Dallas has a decent chance.
I'm if I were doing like a poll next week, I think Cleveland wins, and I don't even think that game's close.
It's at Dallas.
No, it's at
Cleveland.
Cleveland. It's in the
Cleveland.
dog pound.
It's at Cleveland.
It's a Riley Cooper revenge game. Excuse me, a Amari Cooper revenge game.
It's not only that. The Cowboys' offensive line is extremely suspect right now.
Tyler Guyton looks like
in
an
the
animal, though, already, a left tackle.
Yeah, but they've got holes in there. They've got a new center in there. They've got a new right guard. They're replacing a couple of Hall of Famers. That's a shambles. Their running game is ridiculous. Rico Dowdle is going to be fine.
Tyron Smith is washed up now. He's not good anymore. They had to get
right.
rid of
He's playing with the Jets now. He's with the Jets.
He's washed up though, Tyron Smith. He's got nothing left.
Right, and Zach Martin is more hurt than anything else. Biotish is now in Washington, the center. So, I think that what we're looking at with that Cowboy offense is very suspect. Besides, once you get past CeeDee Lamb and his big bucks, who else you throwing to?
Brandon Cooks.
Jake from State Farm.
Jaden Brooks.
Hey, you see the bag that Jake from State Farm keep catching, we better shut up.
And I'll tell you what, Jake Ferguson ain't a bad tight end.
Fergie Ferg, let me love you a long time.
But, again, you got to give Dak time. And if Dak throws the ball 40 times a game, I got news for you. The Cowboys are in deep trouble.
They're not
that's
gonna have
another
to.
thing.
They're gonna run the
Wait.
rock,
That's
too.
another thing. Denzel Ward is in concussion protocol, and Greg Newsome hasn't participated because he damn near tore his hamstring.
Cleveland played 15 quarterbacks and made the playoffs last year.
I'm actually gonna head out here, guys.
Wait, Joe. Before I want everybody's national championship pick right now.
All right. So, I apologize. It's just started school this week, so I'm barely hanging on back in the routine. You know what? It's going to be a very exciting college football season. You're going to have a lot of teams with chances to win and a lot of maybe surprises in there. But I got chalk all over my hands here. Yawn, Ohio State, Georgia is going to be in the final. Ohio State wins it.
I like that pick.
I don't, but that's the way it's going to be. So that's my pick.
Hey, like Dylan said, Ohio State's just gotta pound the rock and not let Will Howard's only gonna have to throw 15 times.
I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna listen to the rest of this as I'm laying down because I'm very curious to hear what you guys say about the national championship. But again, thanks for having me on, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
See you, Joe. Love our Bill show this week.
See you later,
Right.
Joe.
Definitely.
See you later.
Joe,
bro.
we'll get you.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
He's out. He's tired. He's falling asleep, bro.
Hey, John, I have a question to ask you.
I'm here. What you need?
So I just told you, Joe and I started.
By
our
the way,
Buffalo
guys,
Bills.
I'm gonna head out too. Ohio State's gonna win it all this year.
Georgia.
Ducks.
I got Georgia.
Ole Miss. Yo,
I mean,
Hey,
if I was going dark horse, I like it.
someone check Evan's neck. He just broke it.
You're on the lane train, dude.
Hey, not for
Okay,
nothing, man. I didn't even get to talk about Ole Miss, man. We were talking about SEC. They got a pretty good schedule, man. They brought back a lot of their
I
offense. They got some
talked about Ole Miss. I have
And
Ole Miss.
Jackson
Oh,
Dart-
you
I
said
don't
they
like
like
the
the-
lane train,
I was going to
baby.
give the case. I was going to give the case for Ole Miss. That's fine, but they're
Yeah.
not going to win the national championship. But
I got the Oregon win it all.
I got Georgia.
The Ducks.
I think Ole Miss will be there. They'll definitely be there in the playoff. They're not going to the championship.
Y'all ready for it?
Here we go.
It's gonna be Ohio State. Excuse me. Ooh.
Ooh.
It's not going to be Ohio State. Sorry about that. Love Ohio State, but it ain't going to be them. It is going to be Tennessee versus Oregon.
Ducks.
I think the reason I'm not picking the Ducks either. I think the Ducks have injuries late in the year. I think Tennessee has the easiest schedule out of all of the SEC, and everybody else in the SEC and Big Ten is going to beat up on each other. And I think that every year we have a flash in the pan quarterback as far as freshmen, and I think the Tennessee quarterback, the new kid, I think he's going to be.
Oh, Alameda.
Okay.
He already got that $9 million bag before even going to college, which was awesome.
He got that. Didn't he get that his sophomore going into junior year of high school?
Yeah, he did.
Jeez.
It's freaking awesome.
Bro.
As soon as week 1 gets here, he will surpass Shedeur Sanders in NIL deals. With just one offer.
The most overrated quarterback in college football.
Stop it.
Wow, that's
I'm sorry.
Almost.
I mean,
Stop it.
I'm
Stop
not
it.
saying he's horrible, but they're making it sound like he's the next greatest thing, and I don't think he's that good.
And you know the answer why they're making him out to be the greatest thing.
Sure, because of his head coach.
Yeah, but then we might as well.
Why? And who is his head coach?
Then we might as well
His
just sit here and
dad.
say Archie Manning's
Yeah.
going to be the next great
He's going
thing
to be
too.
stunting like his daddy pretty soon.
Look, Deion is a great coach and a great father. But we're not going to see the full prime of Shedeur and Shiloh until they get to the league. The only reason we saw the greatness in Eli and Peyton was because their daddy was hands off. And I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that Prime is doing too much. I think there's some things that we may not understand that may have made it so that he had to do so. But I think once Shedeur if he goes to the right situation in the NFL next year, look out.
Do you think Shedeur is an NFL quarterback?
Absolutely. I think he's an NFL quarterback because he has the size and he has the arm. The rest of it can be taught.
Okay.
All right.
Jamie, you had a question for John. What was your question?
So John, Joe and I just did our first Buffalo Sports Conversation show, and we're bringing Dylan on for our Week 3 show against the Jags.
Okay.
Would you like to come on our show when we do the Bills 49ers game so we can get your take?
As long as it's not week 3, I'd love to be on your show. Yes.
It is not Week 3. It would be December.
Okay, I'll be there.
1st.
Yes.
December
Yeah, absolutely
1st.
will be there with bells on.
It's December 1st,
I'll be there.
and it's in Buffalo. It's a Sunday night game.
Yeah. Either way, you're losing. All right, December 1st. Got it.
No. The games. The games on December 1st. The show would be on the Tuesday of game week.
Okay, so like November 27th or something like
Yes.
that. Okay. Yeah, I got you.
I'll tell Joe that.
What day do you usually record? What day do you usually record, Jamie?
It's live,
We actually do them live Tuesday nights at 8:00, right before the hour before we do this.
Tuesday.
And then like I said, we could just hop on this show after that.
Yeah, I'm down, baby. You got it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Dead air.
Oh,
Dead
sorry.
air.
Mountain.
Yeah. What?
Dead air. What?
Dead air,
Is that a
what?
new mixtape?
Dead air. What?
Trust me, there is nothing worse when you're doing radio than dead air.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get out of trouble in my DMs because I didn't answer.
Well, there is the Hawk Tua girl. That is worse.
Put on that thing. Fuck.
For one of the worst first pitches of all time, by the way.
Yo, bro, for real. Ric Flair threw a better one.
Woo!
Earl Lewis threw a better one.
Should I try and get Haley Welsh to come on a Tuesday night show? Open mic?
Get her on? Are you really?
Stop it. Adam, you stop with that blasphemy. What are you doing?
You would want to get her on?
Maybe she'll talk to him. Maybe she'll tell us how to spit on that thing.
Well, she'll talk all right. I'm fucking dead.
That girl is blowing up like crazy. Holy cow!
Yeah, but the Hawk 2 thing has kind of died out, so she's kind of living off of that
Right,
right
but
now.
now like people are starting to actually like get to know her, and it's a whole different story.
Yeah,
Like she's
But
actually,
they're- yeah.
she's
She
actually.
just needs to
fun.
start get it over with and start OnlyFans. Like, just go.
No, she said I'm not doing.
on
She
her.
already said I'm not doing OnlyFans. She said stop with that.
No, give it time. Wait till the money runs low. She'll have one.
She's doing stage. She's singing country shows. She's going on stage with Matt Rife. She's living it
Very
up, man.
attractive too.
I'm about
Yeah,
to
she's
drive
nuts.
out of this conversation. Y'all missed me with this one.
Evan,
No,
she is attractive. Come on.
Listen, I'm just trying to keep the dead air going, man. Listen.
I've only seen this woman in a Hawk Tour video and the video of her saying she was embarrassed because she was drunk. After that, didn't see her again.
She's like the
Blondie,
Kardashians,
attractive.
famous for being famous.
I mean,
What have the Kardashians accomplished to make them famous? Let's be honest. Outside of Bruce Jenner,
Well, there's
what
one
have
that kind of
what have the
got whole thing.
Kardashians done?
Okay,
The-
okay.
No, one that
Yeah,
has the
whoa,
whole thing going.
Kim Kardashian made a Hawk Tua before there was Hawk Tua, the sex tape.
She made Hawk 2 a cool.
Wow.
Big
I'm
up
getting
to Ray
off.
J.
I'm getting off.
Check, please.
I'm getting off. Y'all can find me at Talking Sports by the Lake on X as they call it now.
Hold on.
I got Evan all shook up over there.
I am going
All
to.
right. Haven't changed the subject then.
Yeah,
Back to sports.
we got to because I'm about to get up out of here.
Okay.
All right.
Nope.
Well,
I'm
we've
not
got
gonna-
out 10 viewers. They want to hear about it.
I'm not being a part of the video that gets copyright infringement because we talking shit about the
Kardashians.
that family. Yeah, no, I'm not doing it.
I got you.
Talking shit on her. We're just telling her what she's doing. She's not
All
being
right.
real.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and then-
Anyway,
Let me do my best Dylan. So who do you guys have winning the Super Bowl this year? I'm gonna go around the room. I'll start with you, Jamie.
That was spot on. Anyway, so that was really derogatory. Anyway,
we
uh,
didn't get
We got divisional picks.
I'm
coming
gonna
up next
say the
week.
Bill. I hate to be a homer, but I think the Bills end their drought at some point.
Wow. Not this year. They have a shot
Okay.
though soon. They got to build that offense up a little better.
Yeah, well, they got the cap. They got the cap space now, which is good.
Mhm.
They took care of that
true.
problem.
That thing's going up every year anyway. Rich, what do you think?
Man,
It's okay. We know you want Dallas to take it. It's okay.
oh, you are lost your blooming mind. No, definitely not Dallas. I'm going a little out on the limb on the NFC side of things. I'm going Green Bay, the NFC. I really think that team showed a lot last year, and they did nothing but get better. Those wide receivers have, they came out of nowhere and actually became something last year. Running game, is going to be a little bit better. So give me Green Bay coming out of the NFC. AFC is tough. It really, honest to goodness, is.
It is every year.
Because I don't have the faith in Kansas City, but Kansas City figures out a way to do it. I definitely don't want to take Baltimore. Pittsburgh's not good enough to get there. Sir?
9-8, baby.
I'm
That's
gonna-
good enough, Red.
So I'm going Houston to come out of the AFC.
Ooh.
Houston,
Now,
Green
do
Bay.
they beat Kansas City in the championship?
Yes.
CJ Stroud takes down.
You're doing your best.
Wow.
Your best dealing with a hot take. That's awesome. Houston.
Imagine the
Houston,
headline:
Green Bay.
Stroud
Houston,
and
Green Bay
Stroud
with-
takes down
with-
Mahomes and Otto.
Imagine though.
Yep.
Imagine if that's what happened. Holy shit.
And that was the headache.
Houston,
Love
Green Bay,
Stroud.
and I got Houston winning it.
Stroud
Which one
and
we
Stroud.
got? Stroud love or love Stroud?
Evan, what do you think, bro? Give me some clarity here, Evan.
Um,
Cleveland and Dallas, just like week one.
Oh, as far as the NFC goes, I have no goddamn idea. I really don't.
Because the NFC
Wait,
is trash.
hold on, real quick. If they sign Zappy tomorrow and Zappy ends up in the playing for the championship, Boston might lose their mind.
Oh no, they'll just talk about how trash he is, and they'll make every excuse in the book. Don't
Zappy
let
Super Bowl Sunday, everybody.
Oh, dude. And then all it's gonna be on every tweet here in New England, every post on Facebook and Twitter. I'm not watching the Super Bowl. I'm gonna watch something else. I'm gonna watch
Zappy
the Dog
holiday.
Show.
Let me just eat my chowder while Zappy has a Zappy holiday.
It'll just be
else.
if he does, good on him. But it's just gonna be up here in this region. It's just gonna be excuses from everybody. They're just gonna get on it. And who needs to watch the Super Bowl anyway? And they're gonna talk about the Celtics and the Bruins.
Yeah. As far as the AFC goes, I don't think the Chiefs make it this year because I think Patrick Mahomes is going to get hurt. And it's not to say that I want him to get hurt, but if you look at NFL history, look at all the quarterbacks who won early in their career and stayed healthy. Brady. You look at Roethlisberger, Rodgers, all those guys that got hurt. I personally think that the AFC this year is going to be between Buffalo and Miami.
What about the Super Bowl?
I agree with that.
Game, is that what you're saying?
I think the championship, AFC championship game wins the Super Bowl, and I think it's between the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins.
In the AFC championship.
That would be for the AFC championship. That would be wild.
Is it going to be played in the snow or is it going to be played in Hard Rock?
Ooh.
See, that's the hard part because if it's played in warm weather, I think that the Dolphins choke. I think if it's played at home, I think the Bills choke.
True. I agree with the Patrick Mahomes take, though. That man is living a charmed life. He's not. Again, I don't wish it on anybody, but he's due, man. Everyone gets one, and he hasn't had a major one.
There's a difference in getting hurt and injured. Hurt where he misses a couple of games. That's one thing. Yeah. You don't want him tearing an ACL or something.
No, never. I would never wish that on anyone. No, never. But he's lived a charmed life of kind of just having little bumps and bruises. But I mean, for how he moves and how he runs, man, he's living a.
He also had turf toe, and that's not the easiest injury to come back from either. Though.
That's true too. Yeah.
I don't wish
in the Super Bowl he had turf toe.
Right. I don't wish it upon him. I just like I didn't wish it upon Brady or Roethlisberger or Aaron Rodgers, but it's due. And the second point to that Patrick Mahomes thing, you really think they're gonna let him three-peat this early and they didn't let Brady do it?
Well, there is one blonde lady that we won't mention that probably could go up to Goodell and say, "Oh my God, Goodell, it's Taylor Swift. My fans know nothing about football, but can Travis win a third Super Bowl? I'll open my FanDuel account right now, and this is going to be your teardrops on your guitar for everybody in the NFL." Ah!
Of anybody here, I should be the most triggered for anything Kansas City and Taylor Swift.
Look. There's probably a video of me dancing to Taylor Swift at her concert in Pittsburgh last year.
Hey,
but
I like her songs too.
But that doesn't sound bad. But there's no way on God's green earth
powers that be
allows
Arnie Race, ladies and gentlemen,
to three-peat the first year Tom Brady is in the booth. It's just not happening.
Oh no, I kind of want to see him call it now.
I mean, I do too. I really do. But you just think that's gonna happen?
The Super Bowl's gonna be on Fox this year.
Just gritting his teeth, and there's Patrick Mahomes with his just talking through his teeth, bro.
Right, but that's the other part, Jamie. You think the NFL ain't gonna find a way to get Tom Brady on there? If Patrick is about to three-peat? I think the Browns are 1 year away. Truly, 1 year away. We need one healthy, productive year from our quarterback, and we're a year away. It's that simple.
Adam, what do you think?
I've heard this before. Browns 1 year away.
I'm only 1
Hey, you can talk all the smack you want to, But until you and you alone can give me a justifiable reason on firing Mike Tomlin, I don't want to hear shit. Because you cried. No, you cried.
Playoffs, you suck. We haven't won a playoff game since
Yeah, but can I
2007.
get something substantial other than he
You
sucks?
haven't had a losing season with this man.
Why is he suck?
Fuck, I want to be one step away from a Super Bowl, not one step away from. Are we
Stop
going to make
letting
the
the
playoffs?
coach and fire your goddamn GM who can't draft nobody.
Or is this fucking town going to be happy at 9-8
No,
again?
it's
Garbage.
it is
Fucking
your GM's
garbage, Evan.
it is your GM's
You're
responsibility to
9-8,
pick
you can
players
take
that fit
You can
your
take 'em.
mentality as a team. It is not the coach's fault that the GM keeps picking shitty receivers with attitudes and not players that can win a game.
It's time,
George
man.
Pickens may have an attitude, but he's an animal.
Yep, and so is Montavious Bryant, so is Antonio Brown, and everybody else you done had that ran through there. They were monsters in college, but they had a shitty ass attitude.
His press conferences are so boring.
Doug, they're better than
Have
Kevin.
you watched the Bill Belichick press conference before?
That's brutal. We're on to Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati. Well, actually, now we're on to my 23-year-old cheerleading girlfriend. Okay, she's hot. At least now that I'm not coaching anymore, I get to go to her every night. And
You know what I gotta do every
We're
Sunday?
not leaving the house of shame at 7 in the morning on the door cam.
Dude, that was wild to me when that got put out. I was like, damn,
You know
Bill.
what I gotta hear every Sunday morning? I mean, every Sunday evening after a Browns game? I got to go back into the tape and review it, and then I'll talk to you about it.
Or you could do what Mike McDaniels did when he interviewed
Okay, Evan,
Melissa
so
Stark.
you've only had
Melissa Stark goes,
Evan, you've
Oh,
only had
Adam's triggered. Adam's triggered. Here we go.
you've only had to deal with Stefanski for what, 3 years, 4 years?
Yes, and I'm grateful for it.
Right. And now all of a sudden, wait till you have to review the tapes 13, 14 years later. You're going to be like,
Guess what?
this guy.
For 50 years, I will be fucking grateful for it.
Why? You're not going anywhere.
Do you know where I haven't been? I'd rather be stagnant than at the bottom, like, dog. Stop it.
Hey, Adam, you got to remember one very important thing. And Evan, I'm saying this with all the love in the world. How many Super Bowls have the Cleveland Browns been to?
8.
Oh, that's not
Same
that's
amount
fucked up.
that you and I have. 0. The Steelers have been to 7 of them, 8 of them.
8.
Cleveland just wants to get there.
Neil O'Donnell played for the Cowboys in the 1, and then Richard Mendenhall dropped the ball, but it wasn't a fumble.
Neil O'Donnell, Adam. Okay, he wasn't a real quarterback. You can't. Okay, I wouldn't pin that one. You know,
Neil O'Donnell's the best player Dallas Cowboys ever had.
Whoa.
Best.
You don't
player.
need that.
He made Larry Brown $50 million, hitting him right between the 2 and the 4 twice.
Dude,
Neil O'Donnell was never going to be a franchise quarterback anyway. That's why you got Big Ben after that.
You piece of shit.
Huh?
Look, if we would have
O'Donnell's a piece of shit.
podcasting, we all probably would have thought Kaepernick wasn't a very
Listen,
good
I had
coach.
Colin Kaepernick on my team, and I think he was okay. I had no problem with Colin Kaepernick.
Y'all just like take a turn shitting on each other. Like, I'm serious. I don't understand why a franchise who's had 3 coaches in the last 50 years, and y'all mad that y'all
Evan, I had the same argument with him on the phone one time as a Bills fan. You and I have been through the same ringer.
The big argument between me and Adam is Tomlin.
Listen,
I'm okay with the fact the man's been there for 15, 16, 17 years, and we've never had a losing season. I'm okay with this. He, on the other hand, wants us to be in the Super Bowl every year, which is unrealistic to anybody.
Exactly.
Unless you're New England.
Thank you. That's what you're saying.
Well, if I knew the other team's plays, I'd go to the Super Bowl too.
Listen, Adam, you could have had Chip Kelly as a coach. Listen, enjoy what you have, bro. Enjoy your 9 minutes.
Like, the thing that I don't understand, and maybe since the both of y'all are Steelers fans, y'all could really help me understand this. Why does Mike Tomlin get all the smoke and don't nobody say shit about y'all GM?
I've been saying that for a while. Why does he get all the shit? Why does it run? It goes uphill, bro. You got to go above that, dude.
You really do, because guess what? Him and the owner are the ones that are making them draft picks, and we all know it. We all know it.
Tomlin
owner's
is the
not.
final say up until Khan took over.
You got to speak into your mic. You sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies.
Chirp, 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 chirp. Khan took over and took over the draft. Before that, it was mainly all Tomlin. And once the culture left from all of Cowher's team after the loss to Green Bay in the Super Bowl, we haven't had a pure leader in this team.
And that's his fault? Y'all held on to Ben Roethlisberger way too fucking long.
Exactly. That was
Rode
part of
into the
problem.
literal brakes fell off of that man.
And you gave up on Kenny Pickett. I actually think you gave up on him too early, because now he might be the best backup behind Jalen Hurts.
Jamie Pickett
What
left on
planet is he circling right now?
Kenny Pickett had a good rookie year for you guys, and you gave up on him.
Jamie, stop. Kenny Pickett left on it. The minute they
pulled the Baker Mayfield more successful.
The minute they signed Russell Wilson, Kenny Pickett texted every receiver and said, "I'm not throwing to any of you guys today." He canceled practice that day.
Yikes.
Jimmy, Kenny Pickett is a piece of garbage. He is no. He's not even good enough to back teams up. He refuses to throw anything more than 15 yards. No. Now, granted, he was the lead of a bunch of screw-ups in that quarterback room, because Mason Rudolph is a waste of prime natural resources. He was at Oklahoma State. He is at Pittsburgh. And I could never stand him. They may as well have brought Tommy Maddox back in, just had a trifecta of screw-ups.
You missed
the
Hey, Maddox wasn't too bad.
Y'all should have kept Duck Hodges.
I play against him all through school. Tommy Maddox was a screw-up from the word go, along with a few other words that I can't necessarily say.
Yeah. Well, we could, but so I got it.
Well,
So
yeah,
this
like
is don't want to keep throwing out, like, this is my third show. I've been up a while. I'm kind of tired. So
He had a good rook. No, he had one good year, his rookie year, and then he crapped the bed after.
Who, Maddox?
No, Pickett.
Oh. So
He
I
had
just
a
got one more
promising
question.
rookie. Okay, Rich, not a good rookie year, but he had a promising rookie year. Because I saw him play against the Bills his first start, and even though they got killed, he actually passed for a lot of yards against the Bills. I was at that game.
Jamie,
what are you?
Not the point. Point was,
got,
whenever
John?
they signed Russell Wilson, Kenny
It
Pickett.
is the point. If you're
all
there,
his
you can give
receivers.
objective analysts.
Kenny Pickett canceled practice the minute they signed Russell Wilson, Jamie,
Yeah.
to the organization.
Quarterback who hasn't done that.
Right, but do you have any proof of that? What's your proof?
Name a young
It
quarterback
was
who
tweeted
hasn't
out.
done that. Stop
That
it.
was tweeted out.
It was tweeted out.
But name a young quarterback that didn't do that. Who wasn't in a
Exactly.
place like that did that. Trey Lance did the same thing.
And what's Trey Lance doing right
did
now?
the same thing. Jared Goff did the same thing.
And now he's on a different team.
Like, we can't sit here and say that when a young guy gets a chance to start, he has an average to above average, or a as Jamie said, slightly productive year, that you bring in a shitty veteran to make him compete when there should have never been a competition. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Russell Wilson should not be on an NFL team right now, and we all know it. So to sit here and hold that against Kenny Pickett blows my mind.
You brought Jared Goff. Who was the shitty veteran that got brought in behind Jared Goff?
They were talking about replacing him at the trade deadline the year before that, the offseason before they moved him. He said he wanted out because he couldn't get along with the coach anymore.
Jeff Fisher got fired. I remember that.
Yeah, and they traded him, and he went to Detroit, and he's doing great in Detroit. They bring Stafford in. Stafford takes the Rams to a Super Bowl.
Right, but the thing
With the same guys Goff was playing with.
that he also took to a fucking Super Bowl. Like,
I understand. And I realize Goff is a completely different quarterback than Kenny Pickett. Goff is a successful quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's a top 20 in the league quarterback. He ain't Kenny Pickett wishes that he was Jared Goff.
I agree. I'm not saying they're on the same level, but what I am saying is name a quarterback, yet alone a young quarterback, who got replaced or was talked about being replaced, who didn't ask to go somewhere else.
Alex Smith did it.
Aaron Rodgers bitched about doing it. Brett Favre bitched about doing it. He finally, well, he got forced out, so we can't count that.
Yeah,
but again,
his ass out.
Drew Bledsoe bitched about it. Tony Romo bitched about it. The quarterback spot is the one spot.
Well, wait. Your statement is different than your comparison. Your statement was to name a quarterback, a young quarterback, who someone was brought in to replace them. Favre, late 30s when the young guy was brought in to replace him. Aaron Rodgers, 35 years old when the young guy was brought in to replace him. Brady, same thing. When the young guy was brought in, he's in his 30s. Kenny Pickett's 24. You know, these other guys have more shower time than Pickett has on the field.
Deshaun Watson had a lot of showers.
I'll give you.
Pickett has no right to say shit from Shinola about nothing.
I'll give you that.
He's in a great situation with Philly now, backing up Jalen Hurts. I would take that situation.
No backup in
He's
Pittsburgh.
about to get traded to Minnesota.
Kenny Pickett was the lone quarterback on this roster at the time.
And y'all chose to replace him with fucking Russell Wilson.
But that wasn't the plan. The plan was to bring Russell Wilson in and compete.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was.
No.
The original plan was to bring Russell Wilson in.
That's what they told you. That's what they told you. Come on, y'all. Y'all are very smart and in the game of media. Stop it. No. Let me finish. You really think they brought that man in there to compete?
For the money they were paying him, yeah.
$1.2 million, yes.
Dog.
They're not paying
him. No. Here's the thing. Because if Kenny Pickett let his nuts hang and be a man about it, he'd still be there. There wouldn't be a competition because there wouldn't be Justin Fields.
Right, but
they would have sat him for a year. They would have sat him for a year. And we all know it. That's not a competition.
He canceled throwing practice with all of his wide receivers, and next day he was traded.
We get that.
Pickett had the prima donna attitude that it should be his team and nobody else should be brought in to even compete with him. He thought he was the guy to start with. He should be in the same echelon as these other guys have been super successful, and he had done absolutely positively nothing yet.
But he still should. He had the right to have that mentality. You haven't drafted a quarterback of any decency since Ben Roethlisberger. Your defense is older than the first fart I ever had back in 1992.
Okay.
He deserves that.
Oh, fuck.
No.
He deserves that. Even if he is shitty, he absolutely deserves it because of what? Your defense is fucking old, and because your defense your defense needs to be reset. Your offense needs to be reset. Why are you bringing
in a leader? He would have said, "Okay, Russell Wilson's here. It's time to get out there and compete."
Hey, you want to talk about? Wait.
Kenny Pickett would have pulled him out of the water.
You want to talk about leaders? Let's go to Brian Clark and some shit that he said about Ben Roethlisberger not being the fucking leader that everybody was on his nuts about when he first started. Michael Jordan was a shitty leader in the beginning. LeBron, shitty leader in the beginning. Tom Brady, shitty leader in the beginning.
Right. You have to develop into that. But you can't walk in, you can't look at the attitude 2 years in that I'm too good to have anybody compete for my position. Bullshit.
That's not bullshit because again, what is your GM?
What did he accomplish? If it was Joe Burrow after 2 years, who he already took a team to a Super Bowl and said that,
Joe Burrow's overrated.
No problem.
I'm sorry.
If it was Patrick Mahomes, who after 2 or 3 years had a team in the Super Bowl and all that kind of stuff, that's one thing. You're Kenny Pickett, who the first year you barely
Yeah, and
broke
I hate to
500, the
tell you,
second year
Rich-
you barely broke 500, and your numbers were absolute garbage.
Joe Burrow's
Baker's
overrated
numbers
too.
weren't good. Nobody bitched about the fact that he was throwing a temper tantrum when we traded for another quarterback.
Who was this?
Baker Mayfield threw a fucking temper tantrum because
Yeah.
we traded for another quarterback. Nobody sat there and bitched about his attitude. Why? Because everybody knew that we were in a transition and we weren't there yet. You guys are in a transition and not there yet. Your drafts have been trash, regardless of who's making the pick. And you're blaming the one guy who's the main reason for your on-field success.
Right, and if we
Well,
suck, we
again-
would've-
No.
So
Right,
who else? Who is more important about your on-field success than Mike Tomlin?
I'm not blaming Tomlin.
I know you're not, but this original argument started with me and Adam about wanting to get rid of Mike Tomlin.
Okay.
So who's the number one most important person to y'all always finishing at least better than 500? Mike Tomlin, am I right?
9-8. I don't know where you get 9-8. It's a great record.
I'm not
Doesn't-
saying it's great.
Nobody said it was a great record. It's a
I'm not
winning
saying it's
record.
great,
Fucking
but you aren't
trophies.
picking in the
You
top
don't get
fucking
these
3
trophies
every
sitting
year.
at home in fucking February. You don't get nothing for sitting at home. All you get is a mediocre shithead draft pick. Ooh, we picked 20th, and we picked Kenny Pickett because
So
we're
you
awesome.
want to pick? So you want to pick in the top 3 for 5 fucking years?
I'd love to
Okay,
see it. I
wait.
would've-
Do you understand that
Adam,
the Texans
Adam.
hit the fucking lottery? The Chiefs hit the lottery.
let me
Go ahead,
run
Taylor
this one
Hurd.
past you. Let's transition to a different sport. If the Pirates went 82-80, they would have a fucking parade across the Roberto Clemente Bridge because they went over 500. They haven't smelled 500 in 10 years. They haven't had a successful team in forever.
They
the
got
Pirates
they
did
got
that-
potential to be successful now, Rich, with Paul Skeens and all these young players. now.
Right, but they've been a steaming pile of garbage except for that 1 year with Cole. You've got to, when you look at it from that standpoint, would you rather have all that garbage and have all these number 1 picks and all that kind of stuff from the Steelers standpoint? Or would you rather be a team that finishes just over 500, has a winning record, makes the playoffs occasionally, but doesn't get those number 1 picks?
Let's see, number 1 pick. I'd rather have 2 number 1 picks.
You'd rather go 2-15
wait,
and have the
hold
number
on.
1 pick.
Okay, so if we didn't finish last, we would have never known the names of Marc-Andre Fleury, Evgeny Malkin, Sidney Crosby.
Okay.
We had to finish last to get those.
But where did they finish after those guys was gone? Y'all was back at the
So
fucking
we
bottom.
got 3 championships out of it.
Dog, do you understand the NFL is a different game? Like, think about this.
We were just talking about first.
No, seriously, hear me out. The Patriots had Tom Brady. The Packers had Brett Favre. The Colts had fucking Peyton Manning, right? Before that, what were they? What were they? How many times were they in the top 15? They were fucking trash. They were all trash, right? What happened? What happened after those guys was gone? They were fucking trash. So you're sitting here saying
No.
who wasn't trash?
Colts weren't trash.
That's because the 1 year they got a guaranteed pick. 1 year. But other than that, and up until now, they've been fucking trash.
They had Andrew Luck, obviously.
That's why I'm saying they weren't trash. You had Andrew Luck.
Right. But that's the point I'm getting to. How many times do we have an Andrew Luck? How many times do we have an Aaron Rodgers? How many times do we have their replacement? We don't. So the fact that you're sitting here and being upset that you're picking in a spot where there are great defensive guys and you can go rebuild your defense, you can rebuild your offensive line, and then turn around and go get a Kyler Murray because he's going to be on the trade market. You can go give up a couple first-round picks and go get a Dak Prescott, or you can give up a couple first-round picks and go get you a top guy at the draft and still be winning. You don't. What Houston did was an anomaly. What the Colts did was an anomaly. You like the Cardinals got Kyler Murray, still in the top of the draft. Still on the top of the draft. San Francisco made all those trades.
Aren't
You get
Cardinals
quarterbacks.
in the top end of the draft with Kyler Murray? So how
That's,
great
that-
was
that's,
Kyler Murray?
that's why I'm saying it, because you can have the top quarterback and not have the right culture, not have the right coach, and can't win shit. So you already have half of the most important formula, which is the coach. And then the second part is getting a quarterback, which is easier said than done. So why not go out and win and then go find your guy? It's not like you can't go it's not like you can go and fire Tomlin, get the next great guy and a great quarterback, but you can keep Tomlin. You can rebuild your defense in the 20s and in the teens, like you did already, and then go get your quarterback.
But just like Brady and just like Purdy, no one would ever heard of them if Bledsoe didn't get hurt and Trey Lance didn't get hurt. They might not have made the field.
Right, but guess what? They had great coaches and they drafted well.
So we need Russell Wilson to get hurt so Justin Fields comes in and we see what he does.
Justin Fields is going to take the field anyway because Russell Wilson's not going to perform up to snuff. He's not the Russell Wilson of 8 years ago, 10 years ago.
I've never
was
liked
taken
Russell
to you.
Wilson, period. I've never been a Russell Wilson fan, period.
Well, you better start.
When
I
first 7-8 years of his career, he was a top 10 quarterback in football. Now, no.
Was he though?
No,
Like
he wasn't.
Because he knew how to lead his team to wins. Yes.
Okay,
Not because
so
of the
wait,
numbers he
so
was
for
putting up. He didn't throw for 4,000 yards or any of that kind of stuff, but he led his teams to wins, and he was constantly in the NFC Championship game or he was in the Super Bowl. Constantly. Did he make some bad decisions in the Super Bowl? Sure. That pass was absolutely insane. But be that as it is, he made the right decisions to get his team wins and get them deep into the playoffs. So, yes, at that point in time, yeah, I'd say he was a top 10 quarterback in football.
I wouldn't say top 5, but I'll say something that Cam Newton said: elite game manager. Would you agree with that?
He's a game manager.
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
John,
he also had like Sean Alexander and guys like that in the backfield.
Right.
John, you see him the most being the Niners guy. What were your thoughts on Russell Wilson?
I mean, top 10. I mean, he in his time, he was good. I mean, he had a lot around him too as well. He had a very good system around him as well to be
Okay,
good.
guys, I gotta get going. All right.
All right, Jam.
So then, as always, you guys can follow me on Bill's Chat 1 at Bill's Mafia Chat and at Jamie Malloy, the unbiased journalist, at DJ Dog Tags on X. You could follow me on this, catch me on this show, Open Mic Night, every Tuesday night, 9 o'clock p.m. You can also catch the season 2 premiere of the Buffalo Sports Conversation Room on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Driving the Top Productions. Like, comment, ring the bell for notifications. And for more Driving to the Top content, please visit our YouTube page, our Facebook stream, our Twitch stream, wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe because we want to keep growing, Driving to the Top.
All right, Chris Berman Jr.
Hi, Jamie.
See ya.
I
John,
actually have to get,
John, is that your guy on Twitter? Is that your person on your YouTube? Send him on.
who? What?
Check our group comments on in the stream.
On that side over there on the right.
I don't know if that's mine or not.
I'm just wondering. I'd never seen that person before.
Stop it. Stop it.
I gotta ask this question. You know it's coming. You really, as a 49ers fan,
Oh,
you really felt like Russell Wilson was a top 10 quarterback at his peak?
if I'm taking everything into account, yes. If it was him in a different scenario, no. Are we talking about him being on the Seahawks or him as the quarterback?
Him on the Seahawks. Because
He had some good runs, man, but he had a lot around him. Like,
Right.
it's not.
because here's my thing, and I hate to cut you off, but
No, go ahead.
there's a reason to why I had this question. Tom Brady, Andrew Luck, Patrick Mahomes, I hate to say it, but Joe Burrow, Ben Roethlisberger. Do y'all feel like if any of those guys was in a different system, it wouldn't work for them as a quarterback? The reason I bring that up is because we can
Some
see
of that list, yes.
Yeah. Tom Brady anywhere else
Yeah.
doesn't do what he did in New England.
Tom Brady anywhere but New England doesn't work. No.
So you saying if Tom Brady was in Indy and Peyton was in New England, Tom Brady don't win them games? I don't know about that one, but that's a discussion for another day.
Brady would have had Marvin Harrison, would have had Reggie Wayne. He might, and he didn't have to make the receivers. Those receivers already made. He might have had more.
No.
Because I mean, think about it. He made Troy Brown MVP, made Julian Edelman, who he is today, being an MVP.
Put my man Patton on the map.
Okay, but is Mora or Caldwell or any of those other guys going to do the kind of stuff that Belichick was doing, or Belichick, as I prefer to call him, was doing to make stuff happen? Videotaping the competition and all that kind of stuff. Come on,
But
man. Brady's whole career was made off of a cheap hit, a bad call, and a cheating coach. Let's be perfectly honest.
Okay, I'll give you.
Mo Lewis's cheap hit. Mo Lewis's cheap hit on Bledsoe. The Tuck rule is still he fumbled then, and he has always fumbled that ball.
He admitted he fumbled.
Yeah, and even admitted he fumbled. And then you have the whole thing of recording the other team's practices and that kind of shit. Come on.
Okay, so two of those things ain't his fault because he wasn't the one doing it. And you left out, and if we're going to be honest, you left out the football shit where the ball was flat because that was his doing. But
he admitted
Deflate Gates.
But again,
the grip on the football doesn't,
But again, you're sitting here saying that Brady wouldn't be successful. He would have had two greater wide receivers than he ever had besides Randy Moss. He would have been minus Rob Gronkowski, but he would have had Adrian James in his prime, and he wouldn't have had to deal with.
Would have had Marcus Fuller too.
Oh, prime Adrian.
Right then.
And you saying running the same system, he wouldn't have been successful with a great defense?
I think Brady would have been in the same system.
I don't think the Colts had a great defense. They had a good defense. They
Okay,
had a great defense.
I'll give you that. They
They had a fantastic defensive line.
I'll give you that. Had a
Dwight
good
Freeney.
defense. Good defense.
Huh?
Dwight
Good
Freeney,
defense.
who else?
You had Dwight Freeney, Bob Sanders, and a bunch of great role players. But again, if that's what you want to say about Indy, besides Richard Seymour, Teddy Bruschi, who was great, everybody else was on steroids.
Rodney Harrison.
Steroids.
Curtis Martin.
Steroids.
I'm drawing. Yeah.
Right.
The brothers McCourties.
They were only successful in New England.
Yeah, anywhere else they went, they were toast. Yo. Tennessee
Now
was
those,
a horrible.
now those are two cornerbacks that only fit in New England.
Yeah.
They only fit in their system.
So, yeah, right. As much as people get mad about it, and I'm not the only one that has said this, Brady is a system quarterback.
I'm not, but that's why I said if he was in Indy because the system was damn near similar, if not the same.
He would have had Marshall Falk too.
Right, because I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not sitting here. Trust me. I'm not trying to sit here and paint the picture that Tom Brady would have been fucking great in Cleveland. It would have never happened.
No.
He wouldn't have been great in Arizona. He wouldn't have been great replacing Kurt Warner over there in fucking St. Louis. He just wouldn't have. But to say, I put it this way: I believe in Indy he would have been great. But to get back to the point, where could you have put Russell Wilson at his peak? Anywhere else? Where could you have put him and he would have been successful?
I think you could have put him in San Francisco and been successful.
Hey,
Who was the coach at the time?
No, take Kaepernick out and put Wilson in.
No.
Mm.
The only reason
Take Kaepernick out and put Wilson in. Yeah.
the only reason I say that's a no is because Kaepernick was so dynamic as far as a runner.
You send him to Dallas. Take Romo out and put him in.
No,
Wilson over Romo.
no.
Wilson over Romo all day long.
I mean, you get more ability, but you lose Romo's arm.
Think about the receivers he had at that time. He had an old T.O., he had an old Jason Witten, and the best running back he had was Marion Barber.
You
He had Miles Austin, baby. Miles Austin.
He won nothing except for the moment that he fucked Kim Kardashian.
Hey, we're not talking about her anymore. We're talking about
Now, you won't talk about Hawk to it, girl, but you'll talk about fucking Miles.
And let's go our leg of the woods. Okay, let's go our leg of the woods. If Wilson is in Pittsburgh with Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown and Hines Ward and those guys, yeah, absolutely.
Fuck no. Ben was the reason that Ben held y'all together. Look, the reason I'm saying no to that is because at that time, Marshawn Lynch came out and talked about it, and so did Richard Sherman.
John,
they all hated him. And you telling me that he would have kept Brown and he would have kept Bell in line?
Who, Brady?
No, Russ.
At that point in time?
You telling me he would have kept Bell and Brown in line and Martavis Bryant in line long enough to win something?
Speaking of Martavis Bryant, he just got cut today by the Commanders.
Yeah, he did.
John, I was just telling you, your listeners come alive after 11 o'clock, man.
Yeah, they're all night owls. I have a lot of people on the West Coast too.
Love it. So. We're one away from triple ditch.
But with that being said, guys, I've been doing this is like show number 3. I got to get out of here, but I wanted to ask one question before I leave, and I wanted Dylan. I just want to give me an answer, yes or no. I don't have to go crazy. We can cover it another time if we want to get into it. I've seen the pictures. Guys, a lot going on outside the field. He's obviously slimmed down. After this year, if they don't go all the way, does Travis Kelce come back next year? Is this going to be his last year? Kind of goes off and does the 1,500 things that he has his pokers in. Does he need to be playing after this year? Do you think he goes for one more for another ring? What?
It depends.
Yeah, him and
the dude got small. I'm not saying he's like, obviously no Roy's or anything like that. The dude, if you see him,
we need that deal. Amazon just paid.
He'll be 35.
No, he's got that with his brother, obviously. He's got Taylor. But taking that away too, because he's got the most ads airing this year on NFL TV, like 200, 300, 445 ads.
This is what McCourty was talking about today on Sirius Radio. He was saying, because Micah Parsons was congratulating CeeDee Lamb on his podcast about the contract, and the question came up was McCourty didn't know what to do for like 2 to 3 years after football. So he said that these people podcasting while they're still active is a great way to transition. And then obviously the Kelce brothers got that huge deal from Amazon today for over
hoping against hope. If they do three-peat, I think he walks away. If they don't win it all, I think he walks away. Be perfectly honest. He said before he's very content. He's happy with it. He's not talking retirement yet. But dude, when you get $100 million for podcasting, you're in movies. He's got his own damn game show starting in 2 weeks. Like, I think he's not going to be able to juggle all of that.
He'll be 35 in October. I agree. I think
to walk away.
This is his last year.
Why not?
And it's not like his wife is broke.
He's nowhere close to being fucking broke. You kidding me? Jeez. And I'm not even talking the Taylor thing. Like, take Swifty away.
No, I was just saying it's not like you have to support her.
Yeah, dude. She's triple whatever he's worth.
It's a Tom Brady. It's a Tom Brady deal because Giselle was making oodles of dollars more than Brady was too. Taylor's making more than Travis.
With that man money.
Huh?
And she still walked away with that man money.
She still got the bag. Just
don't tell her to do.
But I think either way, like I said, 3-peat's the cute way to walk out on top again, trying to, 3. But I think regardless, I think he just has too much shit going on. You can tell he's smaller, still a bigger dude, You see it in his face everywhere. He's not be able to do what he does on a normal basis. And I think if his performance drops a little bit this year, it's gonna be a telltale sign he walks away. Evan, what do you think?
I think this is not his last year for two reasons. One, like I said before, I think Mahomes gets hurt. I don't think he wants to play his last season in Kansas City, hint, hint, without Patrick Mahomes. And secondly, he and his brother have been talking a lot about one of them, if not both of them, suiting up for at least 1 year in Cleveland. They're both from Cleveland Heights, which is 25 minutes away from the stadium. Their parents still live in the same neighborhood. I wouldn't be surprised if they win a three-peat or he plays next year because Patrick got hurt, and then he goes and says, hey, let me go play a bullshit here in Cleveland coming off the bench behind David Njoku and give these guys a championship formula on the offensive side of the ball before he leaves.
No, that's valid. Those are valid points.
Sense.
Awesome. All right. I got to get some sleep. It's been a pleasure talking to you, gents.
John?
Always a pleasure, guys.
Thursday we releasing, right?
Yeah, the wrestling just got a whole dude. Wrestling is just fucking blowing up right now. There's 3 pay-per-views this weekend: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Next Saturday's another one, and we're getting right into that time of year where we're right to the end where a lot of important stuff happens, and we're gonna wrap it right into January for Royal Rumble WrestleMania season. So bring me pretty active on the
Evan, we need that video, boss.
driving to the top for a while. So yeah,
We need that video, boss.
something. And then like I told Adam, I talked about like Niner Mont. We're gonna be going fucking nuts. I'm doing a couple shows on that and doing a wrap up on the Sox. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. Good times. No sleep.
All right. Well, John, thank you very much for popping over. I know you had a long day, 3 podcasts. Yeah.
Good
And
shit.
up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Your wife is probably ready to kill him.
she's the goat.
One day she's going to sit beside you one day. And you're
We'll
gonna
get
be
there.
like,
We'll get there. It'll definitely be for wrestling, not here. It'll be wrestling. But, awesome.
We heard we say thank you for allowing you to jump in the sandbox every once in a while.
Dude, the wives are the biggest drivers of this car. Letting you guys sit back and do what you want.
No, dude, it's. I did everything, like do everything. I'm like, hey, I just gotta jump in my office for 3 hours. Got the kids, cool, great. Like, so awesome, guys.
Wow.
Always a pleasure.
Wives and girlfriends. John, how people get you, boss?
Oh, all across all social medias: YouTube, Facebook, X. Join the 16,000 strong. We got following us over on Twix at Chairshot Sports. Also, want to chime in on anything? Shoot us an email at chairshotsports@gmail.com.
Nice. Well, John, you made it another night. We hit 100, boss.
Yeah, this is 3 weeks in a row.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yes.
Fuck yeah! All right, we'll make it 4 next week.
All right. Oh man. Well, all right. Well, you better start advertising now.
We got this. Don't worry. It's all good, baby. All right, gents. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, my man.
All right, guys.
See you later.
Toodles.
All right, y'all.
Guys, I got to head out too, guys. I got tons of stuff tomorrow. So
Same.
All right, Rich. How people get you, man?
Go Big Go Home Pod on Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it this week. Facebook, it's Rich Richardson. Give me a holler if you got questions or anything. Of course, get us here Tuesday on Open Mic Night. Wednesday, tomorrow night, Adam and I will be doing the Pirates chat. Get a little preview of the Steelers as well while we're talking about the Pirates and some big changes with them. So check us out there. Like, subscribe on the YouTube channel as well.
All right, sir. Yes, I will see you tomorrow.
All right, man. Evan, take it easy, buddy.
Likewise, bud. It's good to see you.
Let's see it.
I'm gonna get out of here too, Adam. I apologize. I've been looking at a road in a box truck since it's like 5 this morning.
You still didn't get all that crap cleaned up behind you yet?
Dog, it was clean the other day. You should have saw it. It was beautiful.
I'm just saying. I know you just moved into your house, and you know
It was
it's not
clean.
always easy, man. It's not always easy.
It's not. It was beautiful yesterday. I'm gonna clean it up tomorrow. Hopefully, if I can actually get out of bed, I'm gonna clean it up tomorrow because I'm off. Um, but I'm gonna definitely get up out of here. I gotta work some angles so I can get some stuff together so I can bring back the Talking Sports by the Lake. Um, for any Cleveland fans, we love to sit back. We talk Browns, we talk Cavs, we talk Guardians. But the other cool thing about the show is we talk about what you want to talk about. If you want to talk about video games, you want to talk about streaming, you want to talk about XFL, the UFL, whatever, we do it over there. Um, so you can definitely come and join us. You can follow me at Talking Sports by the Lake or my private account, personal account rather, at at Brogdon Evan on X, and you can find all my content here on Driving to the Top Productions. I love these guys; they're family. It's a great atmosphere here. We have everything covered, no matter the team, no matter the sport. Thank you for the 100 that are sitting here and watching us and supporting us. We hope to have you guys back next Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hold on. I got to ask you a couple questions after the show, real quick. All right. I am at Sports Talk Get. Get me there on Twitter. I thank everyone for tuning in. I would love for you guys to come onto the YouTube channel and throw us some questions, some comments. If we're not able to read anything from Twitter, I don't know why. If you guys wrote anything, I don't know. I haven't looked. But anyway, you can also get me at McNally over there on Facebook. Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube. Like I said, please like, subscribe. If you guys got a channel too, drop it. I will subscribe back. No problem. I'm not a greedy little guy. Yeah. So everybody, thank you for tuning in, and Open Sports Mike will be back next Tuesday. And tomorrow night, as Rich said, we'll be live tomorrow. Evan, you putting on a show this week, or what are we doing?
That's what I was going to talk to you about. Hopefully, I could do something on Sunday because I'll be off.
All right. You heard it here first. Sunday. Let's go.